Oh boy. Let's see who else is up. Let's see who else is up. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I see you in the chat. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, ladies and gentlemen. Put a one in the chat. Okay, we're gonna wait for you to get in here. Then we're gonna come back in. Right now, we're gonna play that music. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I know it's late. No one expected me to get on here this time of night. I'm gonna have to end this stream and come back. I know you were waiting for me to get on live today, but I was in another case. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry you guys were waiting. I do apologize. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. We got to do a review on this hearing today. I want you guys to stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Just got to stand by. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by.
You'll come up on the podium, sir, or remain standing, and you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is true? Is it true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please be seated. Sir, have you ever testified in court?
I don't remember.
Okay. My court reporter Sheila's taken everything down.
Mm-hmm.
So she cannot take down a or She can't see you do this or do this. And also, I'm going to ask you, the attorney's going to ask you questions. And if you just wait until you're sure they're finished and then answer, because if you talk over one of the attorneys, she can't take down two people at once. And I'm required by law to get a complete record, okay?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Would you like some water?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Good morning, sir. Can you tell us your name?
My name is Mikhail Smelov.
Can you spell your name for us?
Mikhailsmelov.
And Mr. Smiloff, where do you work?
I work at King David Community Center,
What city is King David in?
Norcross,
And do you know the road it's on?
Singleton.
And what is King David? What business?
It is an adult daycare and kindergarten.
How long have you worked at King David?
I worked there since June 2018.
And what is your job there?
Desktop support, IT basically.
Okay. Does King David have security cameras?
Yes, we do.
Are those security cameras inside or outside or both?
Both.
And did King David have security cameras back in July of 2022?
Yes, they did, but they were lousy.
You got new ones now?
Of course we did.
Okay. At some point back in July of 2022, did a family come in asking you to pull some surveillance video in reference to Susana?
Absolutely, the mother and the daughter came.
And did you help find some video?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember what date or time they were looking for?
I don't remember if they came the following day or the day after that,
Okay.
and they were looking for the previous or the day before.
And did you end up getting that video for them?
Yes, I did.
The times on the video system at King David, are the times accurate? Were they accurate at that time?
No, there was an offset.
What is the offset?
15 minutes and 10 to 30 seconds.
So if the time was for 9:42 on the video, what is the real time?
9:57 to 58.
And Your Honor, this time we're gonna permission to publish states 24, which has already been admitted into evidence.
Yes, you have.
And sir, this video will be on the screen. Is this the video that you supplied?
Absolutely. Yes.
Time it's literally 9:46. That is her.
That's her. Sí, en serio.
Wow.
Entonces sí la levantaron de ahí, mami.
Thank God.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Ahora sí la llevaron de ahí, entonces. No sabemos nada más.
And sir, is that your voice along with the family that we heard on that video?
That does sound like my voice. Yes.
And that's the same video you supplied to the family back in 2022?
Yes, I did.
And the time that we were looking at of that girl walking, do you remember what time, the real time that was?
It would be 9:57, 58.
Your Honor, that's all the questions I have for him. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any questions.
Okay, may we release this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may be excused. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
State calls next witness.
State calls Corporal Howard. Corporal Howard. Corporal, if you can come right up to the witness stand.
Good morning. If you'll remain standing and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much.
And sir, can you state your name?
Norman Howard,
And what's your rank?
Corporal,
And Corporal Howard, where are you employed?
Gwinnett County Police Department,
How many years have you been with Gwinnett County Police?
24 years.
And for your whole 24 years with Gwinnett County, have you been post-certified with full arrest powers in the state of Georgia?
Yes,
And currently with Gwinnett County Police, what is your job?
I'm part of the computer forensics lab.
What does the computer forensic lab do?
Take in mobile devices, computers, and extract data from them.
How long have you had that position?
Several years now.
Did you have that position back in the summer of 2022?
Yes,
Did you have that position back in February of 2023?
yes.
You said you take in devices. Tell us how you process those devices.
Say, for example, a cell phone comes in. We usually get it in an evidence bag. Sometimes it's raw, it just got from the scene. We'll take photographs of it with a measuring device and then document what we see as far as this. If there's a serial number we can see, an IMEI number that we can see, we'll put that all in our report.
And do you have specialized training to do that type of work?
Yes.
Tell us about that training you have.
Certified through Cellbrite, which is basically a vendor that gives training. That we have their hardware and software that we use in order to extract that data from devices.
So Cellbrite is one of the machines that allows you to access those devices?
It does.
And is Cellbrite, what type of devices can you access through Cellbrite?
Cell phones, drones, SD cards.
What about to access laptops or computers? What type of equipment or training do you have for that?
That one's through a company called Magnet Forensics. They're basically software, again, that will be able to pull the data, extract the data off of it, ingest it, basically make it human readable so everybody can see what they're looking for and search across that media.
What is, tell us some of the types of data that come on a cell phone that you can look at or law enforcement can look at?
Text messages, pictures, videos, sometimes GPS coordinates.
Also call logs?
Call logs, yes.
What about internet usage or web searches?
Yes.
What about data for apps? Can you access that?
Sometimes, yes.
Can you see deleted data?
Sometimes.
So if a text message is sent and later deleted in my call log, can you sometimes see that?
Yes.
What about photos or videos that are sometimes deleted?
Yes.
When you get that data from a device, is there any way is that data accurate, or is there any way for you to alter it?
No.
During your career, you said you've done this for several years. Do you know how many?
Exactly for forensics? No.
Before you did computer forensics for the police department, what did you do?
I work the road.
Is that as a patrol officer?
Yes.
Do you know during your career with Gwinnett County Police approximately how many cell phones that you have analyzed?
Hundreds.
What about laptops? Do you know how many laptops or computers?
Probably the same. Yeah.
So multiple, several hundred we're talking?
Yes.
And when you you said you measure the phone and take pictures, how do you actually get the data from it?
Okay, well, if we have the code, we'll plug it in, make a pairing, kind of like if you pair a Bluetooth with your thing, with your phone, it makes that connection. Once it makes the connection to, depending if we use a gray key box or a Cellbrite box, it'll allow the data extraction. There'll be client software that's loaded in order to tell the phone, this is what I want, and then it gives it to it.
Okay, you said a gray key box or a Cellbrite box.
Yes.
What is that?
Gray key is the same thing as Cellbrite, except it does more by if we don't have the code, and then it can pull data off that way.
Okay, so the code you're talking about, the security code to get into a phone.
Correct.
So you can access a phone with or without the security code.
Sometimes, yes.
And those software and devices that you use to access the phones, are those specific for law enforcement purposes?
Yes.
And back in February of 2023, did you get a request to forensically access several devices for the Miles Bryant case?
Yes.
How many or what devices did you get requested to review?
There was, I believe, 4 cell phones and 1 laptop.
Permission to approach the witness. And sir, I'm going to show you these 2 different flash drives. First, states 1. If you could take a moment and look at that. Do you recognize that flash drive?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
It's got my signature and badge number on it.
And what is states 1?
It says Bryant's personal cell phone download.
Have you had an opportunity to review that information on the flash drive?
I did.
And is that, when you reviewed it, was that a true and accurate copy of the full forensic download of Miles Bryant's personal cell phone?
It was.
Regarding this time, tender states 1. No objection.
States Exhibit 1 is admitted without objection.
And I also have before you states Exhibit 2, another flash drive. If you could take a moment and look at that. And what is states 2?
Bryant's work phone download.
And is your initials on that?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And did you have an opportunity to review the full contents of states 2, that flash drive?
Yes.
And was that a true and accurate copy of the full forensic download of Miles Bryant's work?
It was.
At this time, we tender states 2. No objection.
Okay, States Exhibit 2 is admitted without objection.
And on those states 1 and states 2, on those devices, when you get a full download,
It's called the Cellbrite Reader file. It's basically our main software. We have the full forensic suite. We basically are licensed to give out a reader to the detectives. That's a little stripped down program. It allows to take the whole data that Cellbrite processed and again, give it to the detective is where they can read it. Like if they wanted to click text messages or documents, they can go through and click it and see what's in there.
And after you process those and got the full downloads on what we're seeing as stage 1 and stage 2, both the personal and work cell phone of Miles Bryant, what did you do with that data?
Once I collected it, gave it to Detective Carter.
So did you go and process this and look at the data in this case, or did you just give it to Detective Carter?
Just give it to Detective Carter.
And Corporal, I'm showing you what's been marked as states 19. If you could take a moment and look at that flash drive. Do you recognize the flash drive on states 19?
Yes.
How do you recognize that?
It's labeled Bryant's computer download and my signature's on it.
And is that this work computer?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that, have you had
Thank you for telling me no sound. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. The reason why I am here now covering this case is because I was in 2 other trials earlier today. That was Young Jeezy and Jeannie Mai, who were in a divorce case. It was significant for me to cover that case because I was already slated to cover that case. You guys can't hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, because I'm hearing people say, can't hear you, no sound. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I was getting a little nervous here. So I had to be in Judge Williams' courtroom today with Jeannie Mai, who showed up with security, and Jeezy, who didn't have security today, which was interesting. And they had their witnesses and so forth ready to go. The attorney showed up, and Jeezy was the first one that saw me today, and he said something funny. I won't tell you guys what he said, but he wasn't too happy that I was covering his case. And I'm guessing Jeannie Mai also had concerns based on what the lawyer said, and she was represented by Randy. Jeannie Mai was represented by Randy Kessler, and Jeezy was represented by Tanya Mitchell Graham. Well, once they saw that I was about to set up my equipment, both parties decided they wanted to work this situation out, and they went in the back off record, and took them about 3 hours, but they came to a settlement. And their case is pretty much over with. The judge signed the settlement order, and I went on to the next courtroom, which was YSL. You guys know YSL was crazy today, and we're going to talk about that later on. But I want to continue covering this case because there was a lot that came out today, and some of you may have seen it, but I want to see it for the first time. With that said, I'm going to continue covering this case right now, and we'll be up for a couple of hours because I want to make sure when I go in court tomorrow, I know what happened today. With that said, ladies, we're going back to the courtroom.
An opportunity to review the contents on that flash drive?
Yes.
And was it a true and accurate copy of the forensic download of Miles Bryant's work computer?
It was.
During this time, offender states 19.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 19 is admitted without objection.
And again, Corporal, did you personally review the process and go into the actual data from States 19, the work computer from Miles Bryant?
No.
What did you do with that data?
Basically, you create an Axiom portable case. Same thing as like the Cellbrite reader. It allows to take all the data that's found on that computer and gives it in a format where the detective can open that program and then go through it and search for things.
And you said Axiom. What is that?
By Magnet Forensics, it's a piece of software.
And the same questions as before. Is there any way that you could go in and change or alter or add any of that data onto that computer?
No.
One moment. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have at this time for Corporal Howard.
Okay, Ms. Tree?
Were you asked to do a dump of a cell phone belonging to someone named Zenobia Parks?
No, not the.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Any
No
further-
further questions, Your Honor.
May we release this witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Your Honor. Next witness.
Thank you, Judge. The state's going to call Sergeant Dorstep.
Good morning. You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
I'm well. Would you do me a favor, please, and introduce yourself to the jury? Tell us your name.
So I'm Sergeant John Jorstad with the Gwinnett County Police Department.
All right. And Sergeant Dorstep, how long have you been with the Gwinnett County Police?
Coming up on 9.5, almost 10 years.
Are you a post-certified law enforcement officer with powers of arrest in the state of Georgia?
Yes, sir.
Have you been so since you've been a police officer with Gwinnett County?
Yes, sir.
Prior to working with Gwinnett County Police, did you have any prior law enforcement experience?
I did not know.
Now, what is your current assignment at the Gwinnett County Police Department?
Currently, I'm assigned to our Central Precinct, A cycle. It's day watch. I'm a shift supervisor.
Okay. Now, how long have you been doing that?
Approximately 3 months.
Prior to that, what was your assignment?
Prior to that, I was a corporal in our homicide unit.
And how long did you spend in the homicide unit?
About 2.5, almost 3 years.
All right. Now, as a member of the Gwinnett County Homicide Unit, did you assist or participate in the investigation and the death of Susana Morales?
Yes, sir, I did.
Specifically, I want to take you to February 7th of 2023. Were you assisting that day in the death investigation of Susana Morales?
Yes, I was.
And what was your, walk the jury through what your role was that day?
So that day, we had gathered all the pre-recruits, the pre-academy recruits, and we were conducting a line search out where the remains of Miss Morales were found for any additional evidence that might be in the woods. So we were kind of had a briefing at our headquarters. We went out to this side of 316. We had all the recruits line up, and we'd have an officer or detective, with a group of recruits, and we just slowly walked the line through the woods to see if we could uncover any evidence or anything.
Very good. Now, what time, if you recall, just approximately, did y'all start that?
It was probably mid-morning, 9 to 10 a.m.
And how many different personnel that were conducting, and again, you may not recall exact numbers, but just give us an estimated number of folks who were participating in doing this grid search.
I would say around 50.
In the briefings that you had, and maybe just a standard operating procedure, when you're doing a grid search, what is what do y'all do if somebody finds something?
So if somebody finds something, they're to stop, raise their hand, get the attention of a detective or officer, and that way the officer or detective can come over, look at what they found, and kind of determine whether or not it's pertinent or not.
And so the 50 or so people that you talked about, was who all consisted of those 50 people?
So we had pre-recruits, we had detectives, we had road officers. I believe there was some CSI personnel, members of the medical examiner's office, as well as the DA's office.
Right. Now, you said pre-recruit. What's a pre-recruit?
So a pre-recruit is when you're hired and you've accepted the job as a police officer, you're called a pre-recruit because it's before the academy starts. We try to gather up anywhere from 20 to 50 applicants prior to going into the academy. So they do various jobs around the department with, help out with evidence unit. They do various tasks.
So employed by the police department, but not yet in the academy or a certified police officer.
Yes, sir.
That day, on February 7th of 2023, did you participate in the grid search?
Yes, sir, I did.
As you were participating in the grid search, did you observe anybody who signaled that they had found something?
Yes, there was one pre-recruit. He had signaled to me that he had found something, and I walked over and looked at what he found.
How close were you whenever he signaled you?
Probably no less than 20 yards away.
Now, he signaled you, and when you walked over there, what did you first observe?
There was a Glock 19 handgun underneath some pine straw.
Judge, I can just ask them to grab an exhibit sticker from up here.
Certainly.
Left them up here.
Oh, good.
Sergeant Judge, may I first witness?
Certainly.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit number 42 and 42.1. Would you take a look at these? Let me know if you recognize them.
Yes, I do.
All right. Start with State's Exhibit number 42. What is State's Exhibit number 42?
It's a Glock 19 handgun with a TRL-7 weapon light on it.
All right. And is it in the same or similar condition as it was whenever, let me ask you, is this the Glock 19 that you observed in the woods on February 7th near Susana Morales' body?
Yes, sir.
And is it in the same or similar condition as it was when you observed it on February 7th of 2023?
Yeah, similar condition. When we found it, it was, magazine in, slide to the front. But yes.
Okay, Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 42.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 42 is admitted without objection.
And also number 42.1. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
All right, and what are those?
These are the live rounds of ammunition that were inside the magazine that was in the gun.
All right, and that's the gun that you've identified here and has been admitted as State's Exhibit number 42?
Yes, sir.
All right, and is this in the same or similar condition as it was when it was found inside the gun?
Yes, sir.
All right, Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit 42.1.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 42.1 is admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I publish these?
Certainly.
All right. Now, Sergeant Lewis, I'm going to let you handle it.
Okay.
So you have a familiarity with firearms?
Yes.
Okay. And if you would, obviously, even though I know this is unloaded, describe for us what is going on here with the green lock, just so that we can all be safe and clear.
Yes, so the green lock is so the slide cannot go forward, therefore nothing can be fired out of the weapon. The slide would have to be forward and around in the chamber for the firing pin to work, for it to strike the primer and the ammo, and then it would go off.
All right. And so essentially, this firearm currently in its current state is non-operational. You could not fire this weapon.
Correct, you could not fire this
Okay.
weapon.
If you would, can you remove it from the box? And obviously, even though it's not loaded and cannot fire, if you would avoid pointing it at
Yes.
in the courtroom. Now, this weapon here, Glock 19, as you've identified it, what kind of rounds does it hold?
It holds 9mm rounds.
All right, and these here that are in 42.1, and I'll hold those up since your hands are full. These live rounds, these bullets that are in here, are these 9mm?
Yes, they are.
Were these, and strapped onto the handle of this Glock is a magazine, do these bullets go into that magazine?
Yes, they do.
And were they found inside of that magazine whenever it was recovered?
Yes, they were.
And you mentioned a moment ago that the slot, that it was not, it did not look like this whenever you found it. Describe to the jury what the differences were.
So the difference would be the magazine would be seated here in the magazine well, and the slide would be forward. So you'd have more of a 90 degrees instead of having the slide cocked back like this.
Okay. Now, at the time that you found it, was the gun capable of, well, I'm not checking. Was it in a position with the slide closed in the magazine where it could have fired around?
It could have, yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. I'll have you return that to the box here. Sergeant George, after this firearm was recovered, was it taken into evidence?
Yes, it was.
Okay. That day out there on scene, did you have any other further responsibilities on February 7th of 2023?
No, after we found that, the firearm, we collected that with our CSI, and then that kind of ended my role for that day.
Understood. About 6 days later, February 13th of 2023, were you still involved in the investigation of the death of Susana Morales?
Yes, I was.
And what did you do on February 13th of 2023?
On February 13th, 2023, around mid-morning, around 10 a.m., myself and Corporal Garrick were asked by Corporal Carter to go down to the apartment complex where Mr. Bryant lived and try to make contact with him.
So kind of tell us a little bit about, if you know, between the 7th, when you recovered the firearm that you just testified about, and the 13th, what transpired that identified Mr. Bryant as somebody that you wanted to talk to?
So we knew when we found the firearm, we had a uniform officer run the serial number through our dispatch, and we got a return that it was stolen through our own department. So we conducted research on that case number and learned that Mr. Bryant was the one who filed that report of a stolen firearm. So that kind of rose our suspicion as to why his firearm was out there. And then from there, we know we needed to talk to him.
Okay. At the time, you said that you went with Corporal Gorig.
Yes, sir.
Down there, and describe for us, I guess, that the lead up to going down there.
So the lead up to going down there, we had some plainclothes of our gang investigators. They have plain cars that kind of blend in more than a police car would. So we had them in the area, looking for Mr. Bryant, and myself and Corporal Garrick went in my CID car, which was a unmarked maroon Ford Taurus. It does have police lights, but no police marking on the outside. As we were pulling through the complex, we saw Mr. Bryant walking out of his apartment, and we hopped out and started talking to him.
I'm going to show you what I have marked as exhibit number 29. I'm going to show it to Ms. Drake first. And before I show it to you, I'm going to ask you, even though you were in a homicide role at that time as a detective in the homicide unit, were you equipped or issued a body-worn camera?
Yes, sir.
All right. And the body-worn camera that you have, were you wearing it that day, February 13th, 2023, whenever you encountered the defendant?
Yes, I was.
Did you have it activated?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 29. You recognize State's Exhibit 29?
Yes.
And how do you recognize it?
It has my initials and my badge number on it.
Have you reviewed the contents of that disc?
Yes, sir.
And what is on it?
It's my body-worn camera and my interaction with Mr. Bryant that day.
Is the video on there of your body-worn camera footage from the interaction you just described, is it a true and accurate copy of the video and an accurate depiction of your encounter with the defendant on February 13th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 29 into evidence.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 9 is admitted without objection.
Before we watch that, Sergeant, just tell us, I guess, describe, once you encountered him at his apartment complex, what transpired?
So we began talking to him, and we kind of introduced myself. We told him why we were in the complex. We were working the Miss Morales case, and we were told he was the courtesy officer of the complex and that he might be able to help us.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you ask the defendant to come with you to the Gwinnett County Police Department headquarters for an interview?
Yes, we did.
At that time, was he under arrest or detained? And I say detained, I use a legal term detained, but placed into handcuffs by you or Corporal Guard?
No, sir.
Did in fact the defendant come with you to Gwinnett County Department headquarters?
Yes, he voluntarily came up and rode in the front seat.
Okay, so describe that. Did he ride in the vehicle, your police issued vehicle?
Yes, sir. So I offered to drive Mr. Bryant up to our headquarters. He said he had to work later that evening, and I told him I'd give him a ride up to our headquarters and back, if need be. And I said, you can sit in the front seat. Per our policy, our unmarked police cars don't have cages in them. So our policy is you sit anybody you're transporting in the front seat, and the secondary officer sits behind them while you drive.
So in how many, this may be broader than simply your time in the homicide unit, but have you ever conducted interviews or spoken with individuals accused of crimes?
Yes, sir.
How many different interviews of defendants do you think that you've done?
Hundreds, if not up to the thousands.
Okay. And I assume that might be the answer, but I want to ask specifically, in your experience as a police department officer interviewing suspects, are you aware of, or do you look for any signs that somebody might be exhibiting that would display nervousness?
Yes, sir.
All right. What kind of things do you look for?
So the obvious is handshaking, in your hand, you're nervous about something, your hands kind of uncontrollably shake. Breathing, where you're almost hyperventilating yourself while you're talking with law enforcement. And then also I've seen in my experience, sometimes suspects will take naps during an interview or a lull in an interview.
And explain that.
So
if it's so common, explain to me, I guess, a little bit about why that happens.
Yeah, so in my experience talking with persons of interest or suspects, especially, either if they confess or not, or whatever their involvement may be in a crime, when they are confronted by police or they're in a setting to where they feel like they may be caught, it's kind of a relief for them. They're no longer running, they're no longer hiding. And so it's a big weight lifted off their shoulders, and all that adrenaline is just dumped, and they get tired and they take a nap.
In this particular instance, when you picked up the defendant, did you observe any manifestations that you just described that you might term, as a detective with the experience, signs of nervousness?
Yes, sir.
And would you explain what those were?
So almost immediately when we began talking to Mr. Bryant, his hands were almost uncontrollably shaking. His breathing was elevated, and you can see his chest rising and falling. And then while we were in the car on the way, while we were continuously having a dialogue, he kind of leaned his head up against the side of the car and attempted or tried to take a nap.
Okay. Judge, at this time, I ask for permission to publish State's Exhibit number 29.
Sure.
Judge, for the record, this entire video is 25 minutes and 53 seconds.
Can my juror in seat number 6, you, good, okay, good, okay.
And before I actually just pause it, you're starting for about a second. As this video starts, is there audio?
So our body cameras, when we start them, they go back 30 seconds, and that's when the video officially starts. However, sound is not audible until the 30-second mark.
Okay.
Let's play basketball. Sorry.
Nah, you get it. We've been all over this complex.
Oh, man. You Dorville?
Yeah.
How long you been with them?
2.5 years now.
You like it?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, when she first was missing, I was talking to her neighborhood kids, stuff like that. Didn't really know anything. I really get to watching the news, and my girl used to stay. She literally just moved out, and pretty much it.
Yeah. Nothing. What are those neighborhood kids saying?
I haven't talked to them in a minute, but when she first was missing, it was like it was just with her, and it was joining on each other. Some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything actually. Like me and my girl was talking about it, stuff like that. It was like it's just weird. They said she was walking home and then she just, you know.
And that's what we're just asking questions and stuff. Like how many calls do you get like being cursed? None of us are cursed.
No, I would get like. It depends. Like I get stupid calls like noise complaints.
Yeah, we get
noise complaints. And
Do you have to like come out and handle those, or?
yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I come out. Sometimes I try to get West Side guys.
Yeah.
Come out, stuff like that. Sometimes I like ride around a patrol.
Yeah. Hey, you do a lot more than some. I worked down in the South Precinct where I started, down in like Stone Mountain, and man, there's one courteous officer. He wouldn't do a thing. Like he was calling us for every little thing, man. It was ridiculous.
All right, so we just got some questions. We got to run over like some stuff. It seems like you're courtesy here, so you know kind of things what's going on.
Well versed in what's happening in the complex.
So you got some time for us to come up to our headquarters and just talk about what you see on a daily basis and stuff like that.
Yeah. Does that be today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now? No. I'm actually finna head out. So
Where are you going?
I have to go meet my girlfriend and not work with her.
Okay.
Would I be out by the time work? Or?
What time? 4? Yeah, it should be. I mean, like I said, we just got some questions that courtesy officer between you and the leasing office. You guys probably get calls all the day, and we're literally talking to everyone here. So we're just trying to document every. We got no lease, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are.
No problem.
Okay.
Do I come with y'all? Can I drive there?
We'll drive you, man.
Yeah, we'll take you up there.
Yeah, you don't gotta waste your gas or anything and all that stuff.
Can I drive?
County gas, man.
No problem. Can I call my girlfriend up there with him?
We'll call her once we get up there, okay? Right now, we'll just go up there. You got any guns or anything on you?
No,
right
I
now?
don't. Actually.
You don't? Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure?
What's going on, man?
You're good. It's our policy, man. We just
I know how this road.
Yeah, you know
how it is.
You know that we don't want to get our balls busted with the GDM and everything.
All right. You can get up front seat, all right, ma'am?
Yeah, get you up there, knock this out. Because we're not the leads. The lead detective, she's been working real hard on trying to figure everything out. So she's got all the know, and hopefully with you're in the know with everything, with going on in the complex and everything, we can maybe put some pieces together. How long you been with Dorville?
About 2.5 years.
Oh, that's not bad. Mm-hmm. I mean, why Dorville, not that?
Was that Forsyth County Sheriff's Office?
Okay.
And we used to start like, I was in the jail for a while. They start telling us that we're gonna go to the road, and I was like, I want to go to the road, So I went to Dorville. I know the chief there. Dorville, and he like the academy, stuff like that. So I went to the academy.
How'd you like the academy?
It was cool. It was just at Forsyth.
Okay, so
Not Forsyth. I mean,
kind of gotcha. Although, man, I know some guys, a lot of guys are end up going federal. I don't know if I can do the academy. I don't know if I can do the academy again, though.
Yeah, I was talking about a lot of guys from going to Gwinnett. Think about it. I got to go back to the entry part of your academy now.
Oh, the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, now we do like a lateral program, so like you're already certified, so it's a lot quicker of a, in and out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was thinking about, like FBI or something like that. Man, I don't know if I can do another academy, like with just all the nonsense. That's the exit. The construction, I wasn't sure if it was.
Did you like Forsyth?
It was fun.
That's what I grew up out there.
For real, I want to move out there. Actually, I'm looking for a house, man. Just the housing market right now is absolutely terrible, and I got this little courtesy spot. And
Trying to save up. I hear that. That's what I'm doing, man. It's nice out there in Forsyth. What part are you looking at?
I don't know, Cumming area maybe.
Yeah. It's stupid nice out there, dude.
Where we going to? West Side?
Our office is up in Northville. Oh. So we'll just jet on 316. Look, we got this peach pass, and we'll. How do you like living here?
Yeah, so I just about to ask you. I mean, it's cool. I live in the area. You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, living around here, like, shit pops off around here. So, like, yeah. I mean,
we hear gunshots all the time.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, not terribly too bad, no. And then actually, I had a case, I think it was trail right down here. I had a gang-related homicide down here. It was nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, my old lieutenant, I'm in a guard. You know,
okay.
And my old lieutenant used to work West Side before she went to full-time Army or whatever.
Who's your lieutenant?
Soto.
She's coming. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I feel like I wrote a report or something.
Where are you stationed out of?
Out of Monroe.
Okay.
Decatur is the main one, though.
Gotcha.
What's your like MOS, I guess?
MP.
Nice. So you just get no break. Cop doorbell, cop MP. Dang.
What'd you do this morning?
This morning?
Yeah.
I was out and about working a little part-time down in Atlanta. Then I came back up. My girlfriend was like, I'm in bed and I was tired.
Is your girlfriend home?
No.
Does your girlfriend?
Yeah.
There with you?
Not right now.
No. Is anyone else in the apartment?
No.
Where's your girlfriend live?
She was right here in the house off Beaver Room.
Oh, what is that guy doing?
Oh, wow.
How long you been dating her?
About 3 years now.
Dang, nice. Wipe that up?
Trying to, man. It's crazy, bro. Had to take a little break.
Yeah. What's up?
Just stuff going on. I had to kind of get some dirt with another girl, you know.
Yeah. I get that, man.
Oh, this must be school. I was going to say, are they allowing golf carts down here now? So you say you go work at 4 because you get on 12s?
Yeah.
So 4 to 4?
Well, it was really 5, but I get there at 4. So
okay, gotcha. Yeah, when I was on the road, 5:30 was my favorite.
True.
Yeah, 17:30 to 05:30, man, that was the best. You got a little bit of shit on when you know, because everything
accidents. We got
everything's popping off. But like once it settles down, you can really start doing your thing. And then you're at 5:30. It's kind of that. I don't like to use the Q word. I don't want to jinx it. You know what I mean?
They get busy down there in Doraville?
It can be, man. We had some we had a shooting. We had a couple shootings this year that we don't even have.
Do they die or just?
We had one die. One guy was killed when we got there, and the other guy, I don't think he died.
Well, y'all,
a lot of violence, man.
Oh, dude,
that's crazy.
I know, like the big news, everybody's listening, clowns down. Yeah, it's skyrocketing, man. Do y'all go to Grady at all? Like,
yeah, we go to Grady Northside, but like the trauma stuff goes Grady.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, I know a lot of our people end up going to Northside up here in Atlanta. I say Grady still is one of the best hospitals, hands down. Because we had a gentleman, he got shot in the head, and the airlift from the Grady discharged from the hospital the next day. Yeah, it's crazy.
Missed action on the road, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going to CID, man. I want to do more like crop suppression.
Yeah, did this Doraville have one?
Yeah, we just got one. It's 2 guys. They do a lot of undercover work, so
yeah. What is that? Audi. That's a nice Audi. I haven't seen one like that before. Well, that's nice y'all got crime suppression. A lot of people going away from that kind of proactive policing.
Yeah. Had NCRT for about 2 years, which is similar to crime suppression, just not with the name. It's not a lot of investigation, it's just like proactive work. That was pretty fun. You know anyone on CRT over here? No.
Are you like a traffic guy, or like what's your?
Yeah, I like
like find a dope?
Yeah, I like to stop car. I don't know. I feel like traffic stops is the key to everything.
Oh no, for sure, 100% on that. Now, are you like a laser guy, or are you? Oh, you're a laser guy. Oh,
I like
get
PC
out
stops.
of
I like
here.
PC stops too.
Nah, get out of here with that laser.
I like PC stops.
Nah. I remember I went. They gave us laser in the academy. I did the hours, and I forgot to submit my paperwork, and it never. Nothing else ever came of it. But I'm a tech light guy. That's my bread and butter. Sit in a four-way, watch it go by, tag light, boom, got him. So I'm guessing 2.5 years, you're still pretty hungry out there. Oh yeah, after it. We're finding a lot of these young guys like they just want to sit behind a building and do nothing. I don't get it. But it's good you're still hungry.
Where'd you go to high school at? Workmore? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fun. I actually enjoyed my high school. I played football and everything.
There you go. Did you play with anyone that like made it?
Buckeye, don't start no topics, Buckeye.
Cool guys like the little JUCOs. That's really legit.
Yeah.
But, I think I saw something like the Amigos bookmark. Were you there at the same time, or?
No, they like come back after for the back. It was mainly for the basketball team and stuff.
Do they?
Yeah, we didn't really have nothing to do with that. Football never. They didn't really mess with us football players.
I thought one of them played football. I could have. So I guess then just basketball. Yeah.
Your girlfriend, you meet her in high school or what?
I used to meet her where we actually kids used to go skating a lot.
Yeah.
Right there, skate along.
And,
In Beaver Hill?
Yeah.
yeah, we got the one over Stone Mountain.
All American?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just started going. My girlfriend just always went there. She started going there recently.
Be careful, Doug. Be careful,
Yeah,
because it's crazy. The amount of fights we have to go break. Oh my god. Yes. Like I hate it because all summer long they do dollar skate night on Mondays. I was like, wow, you guys are killing me. They're like, well, can we get a part time? Do you know how much you have to pay an officer to be here with all the nonsense y'all doing?
I think we're at 35, but no, even if it's 35, nobody works.
Yeah. Like I got a neighborhood I do in Grayson, and it's 35. Like I barely have time to get down there. So I try to tell them, like, look, I ain't trying to get you somebody, but you gotta have to pay $45, $50 for someone to bite. And it's just, especially, do y'all have any Amazon warehouses in like Louisville you can work?
No. So that's actually in the Gwinnett.
Yeah.
It's off that, but that's the Gwinnett side.
So all the Amazons are taking all our part times right now because it's, was it 55 an hour? I think. Yeah, 50. You just sit in the parking lot, just chill, watch some movies, and you know it's really that's pretty much everything anybody does. Amazon. And church traffic jobs here and there, but.
What was your part-time you had this morning?
It was at this little hookah lounge. It wasn't nothing great.
Oh, just security?
Yeah, security.
There's some baddies in that. That's just a lot to do.
Trying to do right my girlfriend.
There you go. Hey, you can look, you just don't touch, you know what I mean?
Doesn't mean you gotta buy it.
That's why polarized lenses. The greatest thing.
So y'all just detectives, or you're part of like a unit, or?
Yeah, just generally, just kind of get whatever kind of shit comes our way.
You guys rolled up. Oh boy.
We're just all, like I said, we were trying anything we can, grasp at straws. That's the only said the Curtis, you were in the back. That's when we rolled up.
We gotta come all the way to the station though?
Well, this is where our office, this is where the lead Detective Carter, she's out of here. That's why we didn't want you wasting your gas. We'll have this on the county time. We'll get you up and back. We get to go.
How long you been courtesy?
Like a year now.
Is it free or?
So I get a free apartment
Yeah. I mean, cause what would rent be like 1,000, 1,200?
I have no, I haven't even looked. Those are kind of hard to say.
But it doesn't matter though, because the market right now for houses is skyrocketing, and I know apartments are skyrocketing too. So, man, free, that's good.
Do you deputize? Is that how you're able to work it?
No. So I just, when any real problem stuff come out, I like when that knows stuff like that. But I don't get into that, bro. I chill. I don't.
So you just call 911 or what?
I either call 911 emergency number, depending on what it is. Because if it's 911, they probably already called anyway.
Yeah.
That's it. I really don't chill. Patrols most of the time. That's it.
What is the patrol look? Like, you use your patrol car, or you like
Sometimes if I'm going
POC
somewhere, or I just use my truck if I'm going somewhere.
Yeah. Because, well, at least you only got one entrance to deal with. You know what I mean? So
Well, yeah.
Don't worry about the riffraff coming in different entrances.
Yeah.
You cool with the leasing office? They're pretty chill with you?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. There's a new property manager. Those one's really cool too.
It just get bought out or what?
No, it's the same company. They just switched property managers. The other one was kind of stressed out all the time.
It ain't that serious, right?
Yeah, like calm down, I'll lock the door or something. Y'all got a pool at that complex?
Yeah.
I bet I can get off the chain till the summer.
Yeah. There's people lock the gate, there's people that hop the fence at night and stuff like that.
Probably a bunch of kids, right?
Yeah.
Easy solution, make a tall gate or make a taller fucking fence, right? Yeah. I know it's good. Free apartment. I don't know how you do it. I commend you for handling all that.
You just wake up?
Yeah, my girlfriend texted me and was like, hey, my brother just got kicked out, come right now.
Where did you get kicked out?
I don't know.
Kicked out of the house? Or?
Yeah. They have a lot of problems. Like, he likes to do stupid stuff, like smoke weed, bring a dog home, the kid works the dog.
How old is he?
I think 18.
So he's at that age?
Yeah.
Trying to push mom and dad's button, see what he can get away with. Quick solution. Kick him out, right?
Sounds like that's what's happening. Okay, student driver. You're gonna mess it all up. How's the traffic in Doraville? Because the traffic here is terrible. It drives me nuts. I don't know.
Terrible, absolutely terrible. Nobody can drive. Accidents here.
Yeah, I don't know how you do. I don't know how you do that. Well, nights is different, I guess. Like, at what time does everything kind of traffic-wise die down? Just like 8. That's not bad. Not too bad. Especially, are they done with 285 yet? Because I know at one point they were like,
APC traffic detail. No, they're not.
Do they have a timeline at least? Like, close to?
They said they had a timeline, but it's past that timeline. They're waiting on not NPC. They're waiting on the assembly to get built right off motors.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good. This is supposed to be in there. It's supposed to be good. Get some Cheetos.
No, you good. All the student driver did it.
Jesus.
How you like that Explorer?
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's not the fast one.
It's still nice though, right?
Still an SUV.
We're all
supposedly getting Explorers.
We're all jealous of the Explorer.
Yeah. They look clean though. Does it have like the like we got some of the guys are teeny in them, kind of like the Spanish like sound speaker where it's like auto.
No way. I didn't know it had that.
Yeah. So like it's pre-programmed to like say you're under arrest and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, that's pretty nifty. You speak any Spanish? Me? No.
Yeah. Same.
I don't know. I know tranquilo.
What's that mean?
Calm down. And muchos cervezas. That's all.
Yeah.
Muchos cervezas. That's all.
Muchos cervezas. Yeah, I know Siete Tech. I don't even know if Aristado is one of them. I don't know if that's really Spanish or not, but they seem to understand that one.
Manos arriba. Hands up. Right?
No, I don't even. I know no nadar.
What's that?
No swim. I was lifeguard before this, so yeah, no nadar, no swim. Because they always, you know, you gotta have bathing suits going pool, but they always wear like jeans and all kinds of shit. It's like no nadar.
Yeah, nice car, man. Brady had a RAV4. Was that a RAV4 that was behind his gun? With the other guy, also, was he officer?
I don't know what he got. But yeah, I mean, the Taurus is nice. Some of them got if you're lucky, you got a 2016, you got the turbo.
Oh,
so
those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Who's the other guy with y'all? He didn't have like a vest or nothing.
I can't remember his name. So we got so many people, it's not, well, we're hurting for people, but like we got so many people I haven't even seen before. So it's like, oh, what badge, like what's your badge number?
Me, 1201.
1201? Okay. And is that like it's like a super high badge number, like kind of in the
Not
middle?
now, but it was.
Yeah. So like now we got like, cause I'm 1698, and like now we got like 2500. So like there's like good people like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Like I've never seen you in my life. I do know they need to make this a roundabout.
That would be very nice.
Because it takes one person not knowing how to press the right gas pedal to mess everything up. Because we have two schools here, which is funny. And you know anything about the Give East Center? So this is like the trouble school they send everybody.
Oh, I know about
expelled.
that. Yeah, I was going to school.
Yeah. So it's funny that the Give Center is across from like our HQ. I just think that's totally ironic. I don't know how many times it's like, oh, we gotta go find somebody. We just go across the street. Yeah, this is when the gas pedal comes into play. I'm not trying to get stuck. I don't know. I just heard the tone. I think it's the 1S. Although, again, these new guys, they get too excited and like don't wait for backup. Like I had a guy who's in he doesn't work anymore, so I can say this. He calls out like, y'all got a TAC radio?
Yeah, we got TAC, yeah.
So he calls out on TAC, hey, I'm on a 1S, blah blah blah. All right, cool, man. We're on our way. Like, and 1037, pulls it over. Guess what he walks up to the driver and says? Hey, because your vehicle's stolen. Oh, like straight to the driver. I'm like, bro, you can't do that. You can't do that. Come on, you're killing me, man.
Alright, bro, just have a seat. I'll bring that back. I'm going to eat one, alright?
Yeah. If you need anything, just knock, okay?
Sergeant Jorstad, there at the end of that video, Mr. Bryant made a statement that he feels like a perp. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean?
As he was thinking, because he was in police headquarters going up to an interview room, often people think just because they're at a police headquarters and in an interview room means they're a suspect in something, when it is not the case, because we interview victims, witnesses up in those same interview rooms.
Okay. We watched you there at the end walk him into an interview room there at the Gwinnett County Police Department headquarters.
Yes, sir.
Where that was?
Yes, sir.
At some point after your body camera ends, did an interview of the defendant take place?
Yes, sir. I believe the interview room had already been started prior to us arriving. So when he walks in the interview room, the interview was already recording.
Okay. And who participated in the interview of the defendant?
So at first it was myself and Corporal Gehrig. And then when Corporal Carter arrived, it was myself and Corporal Carter. And then it was myself and Sergeant Poppy at the end.
Okay. So we've already seen on the video Corporal Gehrig,
Yes.
who was there with you in the vehicle. And obviously you see Detective Carter, who's here at the table. Who is Sergeant Poppy?
Sergeant Poppy is one of our supervisors of the homicide unit. We have 3 supervisors, and he was one that was assisting with the case that day.
Okay. And so were you present for all of the interview that took place, even though it was kind of broken up with different people?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you what I have marked as State Exhibit number 4. I'm going to show this to Ms. Green first. Do you recognize what is contained in State Exhibit 4?
Yes, I do.
All right. And how do you recognize it?
It has my initials and my badge number on it.
All right. And what is contained on State Exhibit number 4?
It is a USB that has the interview of Mr. Bryant.
Okay. Have you viewed that interview?
Yes, sir.
Is it a fair and accurate representation of the interview that was conducted with the defendant on February 13th of 2023?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 4 into evidence.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 4 is admitted without objection.
And Judge, I am going to publish that interview through Detective Carter. So I'm not going to publish it at this point, but we'll revisit that here in just a minute. After the interview of the defendant, did you have any real further involvement in the investigation in this case?
No, sir.
I think those are all the questions I have for you, Sergeant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Good morning. How are you?
Good to see you. I just wanted to clarify, the gun that was found, the magazine was full?
I don't recall the exact round count, but there was rounds in the magazine, yes.
I believe that's all I had. Thank you, sir.
All right. May we release this witness?
Yes, Judge, but I'm just going to
Oh,
the answer
follow
to
up.
Drake's
Sorry.
question.
Sorry, Mr. Dillon.
That's all right. Judge, State's Exhibit 42.1. How many 9mm rounds were in the magazine?
15.
15. Okay,
Yes.
thank you, sir.
Yep.
Nothing else?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
State call its next witness.
So we're going to call Detective Angela Carter.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please be seated.
Good morning. And while you have been referenced throughout the trial, I've all seen you sitting there at the table. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself officially to the jury?
Yes. My name's Detective Angela Carter. It's spelled Angela. Last name Carter, Carter.
All right. Detective Carter, go ahead and tell us, and you're Detective Carter, but you're also Corporal Carter as well?
Yes.
Okay. So which one do you normally go by when it comes to day-to-day things?
I go by detective.
All right, so Detective Carter, tell us what your role is with the police department.
I am currently assigned to the homicide unit
All right, and how long have you been with Bryant County Police Department?
since October of 2016.
Prior to being with Gwinnett County Police, did you have any prior law enforcement experience?
No.
Or you have any prior military experience?
Yes. Prior to joining Gwinnett County Police, and a little bit overlap as well, I served 9 years in the United States Army.
And in the Army, what was your assignment?
My MOS, it was 68 Juliet, which is Medical Logistics Specialist, which is a fancy term for medical supply.
Okay. And so you served 9 years. When did you retire from the Army or discharged or whatever the appropriate term is?
Yes. I left, I believe it was 2018.
Okay. So since 2016, you've been with the Gwinnett County Police Department. Tell us just very generally kind of what roles you've held in the police department.
Like I said before, I'm currently in the homicide unit. Prior to that, I was in the robbery unit. We investigate robberies, obviously. Prior to that, I was also on the special victims unit, where I investigated crimes against children, sex crimes of all ages, and juvenile missing persons. I also was part of the Internet Crimes Against Children task force, where we worked with NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We had to watch child porn and stuff like that. And then we did investigation, search warrants and stuff to locate the individuals who possessed it.
Prior to being with the SVU unit, were you a patrol officer?
Yes, I actually worked as I was on the CRT unit, which is the community response team in West Precinct, which is in Norcross. Basically, it's a road officer, but we don't get dispatched to calls. We're proactive, and we do kind of like road investigations for areas that are having a trend of crimes like entering autos, armed robberies, stuff like that.
So some hybrid maybe between patrol officer and detectives?
Yes, it is. And then prior to that, I was a road officer where I got dispatched to calls.
Okay. Now, how long have you been with the homicide unit?
I've been with the homicide unit since September of 2021.
In your time with the homicide unit, how many cases have you been the lead detective on?
14 homicides.
And how many cases, if you know, have you participated with the rest of the homicide unit in investigating?
We always work together on every case, so it has to be over 100.
Okay. Throughout your career, both in maybe the homicide unit and other units that you've been a part of, have you received or have you handled any cases involving missing children?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
What you said with the homicide unit?
Or before?
Yes.
At all with your time with the Gwinnett County Police Department, have you handled cases involving missing children?
In special victims unit, I did look into a few cases. There's a certain procedure and timeline. It was very rare for it to get to the point where the child had not returned home before it got to us. And actually with the homicide unit, I did recently have a case where I did handle a juvenile missing person that was originally being investigated by the school resource officers at Gwinnett County.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take you to just the concept of a missing child investigation. Is there any particularized trainings or anything that police officers go through in terms of investigating those types of cases?
You get basic investigative training. There's certain procedures that Gwinnett County follows. As soon as a parent calls in to report their child is missing, the report is taken, and they're listed on GCIC, which is the Georgia Crime Information Center. It also goes to the NCIC, which is National Crime Information Center, so everybody in the United States can see it. After it's been 24 hours, this is the common misconception people often get, is that we have to wait 24 hours for someone to be looked for. That's not necessarily the case. When someone is a juvenile under the age of 17, running away is technically a crime. It's considered a status offense, but we don't charge the juveniles unless they've been gone for the 24 to 48 hours. That's where that time frame comes into play.
Okay.
And also, I've actually received formal training. I went to a conference in Las Vegas where they went into great detail about investigating missing persons, different resources that you can take, other avenues you can look into, because oftentimes there are some barriers that you can face when trying to get information for someone who's missing, whether it be a juvenile or even an adult, because to get a search warrant, you have to have a crime. So if you know that someone's missing, you have to be able to articulate a crime before you're able to get a search warrant to serve to cell phone companies or Facebook, anything like that. So we kind of struggle in getting that kind of information.
So there are some limitations, sounds like the police department has, or the police in general have, in investigating those crimes. But tell us, at the Gwinnett County Police Department, we heard from Lieutenant Biggers, who kind of talked about some of this. I don't want to retread the ground he did, but just tell us, when does the homicide unit become, generally, in a missing persons case, how and when do you become involved in a case like that?
Well, if it's an adult missing person, we work those automatically. That's what we're usually assigned. With juveniles, it's very, very rare that we become involved. A lot of times I kind of insert myself in cases like this one. If there's certain situations that I'm particularly interested in, I'll kind of involve myself and give sometimes unsolicited opinions and advice. So it's very rare, unless they're obviously located deceased.
And of course, if somebody's located deceased, the homicide unit is the group that ends up handling that case?
Yes.
Now, in this case with Susana Morales, tell the jury how you first became involved in any capacity in the case.
As soon as the case was reported, I heard about it. We're all on the same floor, just opposite sides of the floor. Lieutenant Biggers he may not have seemed like it on the stand. He's very, very loud. So even though we're on opposite sides of the floor, I could hear him talking about it. And some of the details of the case caught my attention. So I walked down there to get more information. And from there, I kind of followed up with it and asked him if he needed any assistance. Because I was previously in SVU, the crimes that they deal with, they write different kinds of search warrants. The investigations usually go a different way. There's different procedures. So because I transitioned from the SVU unit, I went to robbery and then homicide, I was familiar with the other search warrants that were available that someone in the special victims unit that had no other previous experience may not have knowledge of. So I continued to kind of push, and anyone I work with will tell you that I'm bad about trying to insert myself. So I continued to push, and then at some point, leadership did agree that I should probably come in. And then in January of 2023, we had a meeting where we agreed that I would become lead in the case.
Now, I know you said that and testified about somewhat being involved in other people's cases.
Yeah.
But in terms of this case, was there anything about this case that struck you different than other cases?
Absolutely, especially with the juvenile missing person. Juveniles leave home all the time. They don't come home when they're supposed to, but there's always some kind of trace of them. They're always on social media still. There's still activity on their cell phones. They may be going to school, or they're always in communication with some of their friends, especially their best friends or boyfriends, girlfriends. that just wasn't the case in this investigation, as well as the facts with the Life 360. That was definitely odd, knowing that she didn't have a vehicle.
Okay. And so, prior to January, when you officially became involved in the case and took over as the lead, what kind of, I guess, other than listening and hearing about what was going on, did you have involvement in assisting with the investigation?
Yes, I would just look up social media accounts with Susana and make mention of there's no activity going on right now, and make suggestions on what should and possibly could be done. Now,
Do you have a particular, I'll use the word expertise, maybe interest, or just you're good at it, at social media, looking at social media and things like that?
Yes, social media is probably my biggest source in any investigation. I'm able to find people related to others, track activity and such. I have received formal training on social media investigations, as well as done a ton of search warrants on social media accounts to see what kind of information I can get. Also personally using it as well.
In a case where there's a missing juvenile, what kind of things do you expect to find on social media?
I still expect them to be posting, liking. They may not do it on their main pages that their family may be involved in, or follow them, I mean. So I always look for other associated accounts with them. They call it a spam account. It's kind of where they post stuff that they don't want their families to see or their parents to see. So if I don't see any activity on their main page, I'll go look for a spam page, or I'll locate friends that they have and then see if their friends are posting where they may be in the videos or in the posts or commenting on their activity and stuff like that.
If you had 100 missing juvenile cases, how many of those do you anticipate finding social media type activity that might give you an indicator that the person is okay and or has access to a phone and social media accounts and is communicating with people in their life, even if it's not their parents?
Out of 100, probably like 98 for 98 people. It's pretty common.
In the investigation here, at some point, was it you or Lieutenant Biggers or somebody else, did anybody obtain search warrants for social media accounts belonging to Susana Morales?
Yes.
And when did y'all review those?
Yes, I did.
In the line of what we've been talking about, did you find anything in any of Susana's social media accounts that would indicate that after the night of July 26th, that she was using it, accessing it, communicating or messaging with anyone?
There was no activity on her accounts. Even if some, on the off chance that they're not messaging people, there'll still be connections to Wi-Fi, or it'll show like an IP address that they're connected to. There was zero activity on any of her social media accounts.
So, and you mentioned something that I was about to ask you about, IP addresses or internet protocol addresses. What are those?
It depends on the device, but sometimes the devices switch IP addresses constantly. It's common with cell phones. It's the internet connectivity, and it's usually specified to certain devices.
So another way of saying this is that if I were to use my phone, if I had social media, and I were to use my phone to access my social media, would the social media companies keep a record of the IP address that I used to log into and access my social media account?
Yes, if it's from your cell phone, you can reference the exact date and time that the IP address was used to identify where that activity was coming from. And if you were doing it from home, like on Wi-Fi, it'll be the same IP address for your internet.
In terms of the Susana's social media accounts, did you review those and look at IP address histories and things like that?
Yes.
Did you find any connections made to her social media accounts after she disappeared on July 26th, 2022?
No.
How did, and kind of, if you can, you took over the case officially in January of 2023. Once you were the official lead detective on the case, would you tell us what you did in order to take over the case at that point?
I reviewed all of the investigative material that had already been collected at that time. I reviewed interviews, and after doing that, I kind of started over. I wanted to start from scratch just to make sure like nothing was missed. So after reviewing everything, I made contact with Susana's family and did an interview.
And if you recall, the approximate date that you scheduled the interviews and talked to Susana's family?
I believe it was January 17th of 2023.
Now, what family did you talk to?
I spoke to Maria or Guadalupe, who's Susana's mother, and Jasmine, who is her sister.
Where those days? Where'd you talk to them
at Gwinnett County Police Headquarters in an interview room.
And you've been sitting here when we heard from Mr. Sneeloff. One of the things I wanted to ask you, when you talked to Jasmine, did she indicate to you at that time the video recording that they obtained from King David Academy, the video surveillance of Susana? Did she indicate to you at approximately what time that video was recorded?
Yes, when I asked Jasmine for what time that video was captured, she told me 9:57 p.m.
So when you said you reviewed the investigative stuff, at that time, we heard from Lieutenant Biggers. Did you review reports and information submitted by Lieutenant Biggers?
I did.
It was also Corporal Conway that we heard from. Did you review reports from him as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, throughout we heard them testify about different, and also Jasmine, also tips that came in just throughout the investigation, people calling and saying something to the family about seeing Susana, or did you see those in their reports?
Yes, I did.
Is that, in your experience, is that type of behavior from people, the tips that are coming in, is that common?
Yeah, especially with cases like this, they get a lot of media attention and media coverage.
At this time, when you took over in January, had there been any media coverage of Susana's disappearance?
A ton of media coverage.
Okay. Now, at some point, were you able to, when you took over the case, were you able to create a timeline for Susana's disappearance?
Yes.
And what's the importance of that? In an investigative sense, what's the importance of creating some kind of timeline of the disappearance?
To piece everything together and try to create a story, or not a story, to figure out what happened, to fill any voids, to look for additional evidence within that time frame, basically to get a full picture of what actually happened.
And what kind of timeline were you able to develop initially whenever you took over the case about the disappearance of Susana?
I was able to develop a pretty solid timeline up until her phone died.
Okay, and walk us through, from your investigation, what timeline you were able to develop.
Yes, so after I interviewed Maria, she told me about how Susana walked away from her home. She told me 6 p.m., but again, it had been a long period of time since then, and sometimes people don't recall exact time. So that's where, phone records and stuff come into play, and it helps out quite a bit. She told me that she contacted Susana 10 to 15 minutes after she left. Susana didn't answer, so she sent her a text message. I was able to get Susana's phone records, and I actually saw that call came in at 7:17 p.m. Susana's location at that time was consistent with her walking on Singleton Road in the direction of Windscape Village Lane, or Sterling Glen Apartments, towards Kelly's house.
And since we're talking about that, I'm just going to pull that back up here as we're talking about that. Her location that you're talking about was at 7:17 p.m.?
Correct.
All right, now, I'm going to just republish here a slide from the PowerPoint presentation. It was Exhibit 3, testified to and admitted by investigator Wilbanks. All right, here at 7:17 p.m., this phone call that you're referencing from Susana, and this is kind of an overall screenshot here. I'm going to go to the next slide, which just gives us a bigger photograph. You said it's consistent with her walking down Singleton Road. Tell us why you said that.
Her phone, the azimuth that was provided for that phone call in relation to the tower it includes the area of Singleton Road that's in between her house and in the direction of Kelly's house.
Investigator Wilbanks talked about the sectors and things like that. In this particular phone call, because she's hitting off the sector, did that exclude the majority of the rest of the Sterling Glen apartments?
Yes.
Okay. So based on when you observed the phone records and looked at things like this, it appeared to you that she may have been on Singleton Road walking at that time, which would be consistent with what Maria said?
Well, Maria said that she was walking towards Hoy Taylor, which I don't even think is in that sector either.
That's right. So
it's consistent with the fact that they later learned that she went to Kelly's house.
Understood. So her mother thought she was going to Esmeralda's house.
Esmeralda's house.
Right. But otherwise, it's consistent with her walking to the Sterling Glen apartments at that time.
Yes.
Okay. That was kind of the first indicator of a timeline for you at that point, around 7:17 p.m. What next were you able to look at and figure out kind of the sequence of events?
So I began to review the Life 360 screenshots that Jasmine provided. I was able to see that she was actually stationary in the Windscape Village Lane or Sterling Glen apartments between, I believe it was 7:28 p.m. and 9:58 p.m.
And I'll pull up State's Exhibit number 18 here just so we can see it together. What you're talking about, is this the screenshot that you're talking about when it comes to the Life 360?
Yes.
Okay. So 7:28 to 9:58 p.m. Her Life 360 placed her there at the Sterling Glen apartments?
Yes.
All right. So you had that information in terms of timeline. What next did you have?
I reviewed the next screenshot where it showed her leaving. That coupled with the video collected from King David business, as well as statements made by Kelly and Alyssa.
Okay. And I pulled up this. Is this the screenshot you're talking about, the other Life 360 screenshot that you looked at?
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of, we can see the path, but in terms of the timeline, what kind of, what's the time range for this trip?
From 9:58 p.m. to 10:07 p.m.
You also said that you were able to utilize the video footage from King David, but also conversations with Alyssa and Kelly. What specifically information did you obtain from them in terms of trying to piece together a timeline of Susana's movements?
So they discussed posts that they made on social media, specifically Alyssa, regarding the videos and stuff that they made that day. Kelly mentioned, not directly to me, but I believe to Biggers, that she had a curfew that she had to be home by a certain time, as well as she wasn't allowed to have people spend the night. She said that she had walked, and I believe she provided that time around 9:30-ish, and said that she walked Susana to the back entrance towards Singleton from Sterling Glen Apartments, and then she began to walk home.
Now, so you, armed with that information from Alyssa and Kelly, did you have an approximate time of when Susana left the apartment complex?
Around between 9:30 and 9:58 p.m.
Okay. Now, once you had that and you saw her leaving, or believed her to be leaving, you saw her on the King David, what else did you obtain in terms of trying to identify a timeline for Susana?
So on that screenshot, you can actually see it's consistent. The exit that Susana would have walked out of in Sterling Glen Apartments, you take a left. There's no reason to cross the road or anything. So King David showed her continuing to walk in the direction of her house. On this, she actually makes it to the street where she would have turned left to go down the street to start walking to Santa Ana Drive where she was where she lived. Oh, yes, sorry.
No, that's all right. If you can use that and kind of show us what you're talking about as you're talking about her turning left. This is State's Exhibit 18.1 that's being displayed.
So this is the Sterling Glen apartment. So she would have turned left, walking down Singleton Road. And again, she wouldn't have had to cross the street or anything. It's all on the left side of the road if you're driving southbound. This street right here, I forget what this is actually called, but this is Santa Ana Drive where she resided. So she made it all the way to the street that she would have needed to turn left on off of Singleton Road to reach her residence.
Okay. And then after seeing this screenshot, what was the next timeline piece that you put together?
I then obtained her phone records I had the other Life 360 screenshot.
And we'll go to that one. Which one are you talking about?
The one that shows her traveling northbound on Singleton Road, crossing over on Steve Reynolds Boulevard at approximately 40 miles per hour.
I pulled up State's Exhibit 18.2. Is this the one you're talking about?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in here just so we can see. All right, so this was the next piece, and give us how this fit into the timeline.
There, it shows her next activity from 10:21 p.m. to 10:26 p.m.
Okay. Now, I'm going to, here I can scroll down here just a little bit so we can see the bottom of this photograph. I zoomed in just because it's a little bit of a distance from me to the screen. Here it says top speed on the bottom left. Is this what you're referring to when you said 40 miles an hour?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at this time, the starting location here, which is on the left side of the screen, is that starting location consistent with where and I'll just go back to 18.1, right? So we can track this together. 18.1, where she ended up here on this previous trip on 18.1, is that consistent with where the next trip started?
Yeah, it's just a little bit further ahead. You can't see it on the previous shot, but yeah, this intersection is right next to where the other trip ended.
So the end of the previous trip and the start of this trip, both right there at the intersection of Singleton Road, Indian Trail?
Correct.
Okay. Now, after you observed this, right, we have the 1026. What's the next thing in terms of, were there other Life 360 things that you looked at?
Yes, Kaya received I had a screenshot that Kaya received a text message at 10:29 p.m. indicating a crash alert that potentially Susana was involved in a car accident or dropped her phone.
Now, are you familiar with Life 360?
I am.
All right, and I want to talk about, do you know we've used the term crash alert, but are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And tell us, what you know about that.
So for a crash alert to occur, your phone has to be over 10% for the alert to be sent. It also cannot be on power save mode. It can't be on airplane mode. It has to be connected to a cell tower or data source. Excuse me. You have to be in a vehicle, and it has to be moving 25 miles per hour within 30 seconds of the sudden braking. And it doesn't detect small movements. It detects sudden stops. So even the website will say that it may not pick up on fender benders and stuff. It has to be a very abrupt stop.
So, and there's a couple things I want to point out about that, or not point out, but ask you about, excuse me. You mentioned that in order to activate for somebody's Life 360 to send this alert to whomever they have in their circle, the first thing you mentioned was your phone has to be over 10%. Do you mean 10% battery life?
Correct.
Okay. In this particular case with Susana, did you have any concerns that her battery life was below 10% at the time the crash alert was sent?
No.
Okay, and we'll walk through that just a little bit here. There's a screenshot, because we looked at them, and you've been sitting here with other witnesses. This one, I believe that Kaya testified about. This is 18.3 here, this screenshot of Susana. And down here in the bottom, I'm just going to zoom in so it's visible for everyone here. Down here at the bottom, there is a battery indicator there that says, looks like less than 9% is what it says. Is that what you see?
Yes.
All right, and this screenshot Ms. Jones testified to is at 12:12 a.m.
Correct.
Anything about this screenshot that helped you draw the conclusion that Susana's phone was not below 10% at the time that it generated the crash alert?
Yeah, so she took the screenshot at 12:12 a.m. So there was an hour and 45 or hour and 15-minute time gap, I believe, from the crash alert actually being sent. So it, like it says 10:30 p.m. yesterday. So dropping 2% is not uncommon for, you know, an average phone battery. Also, when you're actively tracking phones and checking the location like they had been at that time, well, based on what they told me, it causes the battery life to drop a lot quicker. And we find that we struggle with this as well sometimes, where if we're actively pinging somebody's phone, we're looking for them, the battery decreases very quickly.
So if the crash alert came in at 10:29 and this screenshot's taken at 12:12, that's almost an hour and 45 minutes?
An hour and 45, yes.
Okay. And again, there was another screenshot, same sort of question. This next screenshot was at 12:22 a.m. Up here in the top left corner, we can see the 12:22. So 10 minutes later after that, this is State's Exhibit 18.4. There's another screenshot, and here at the bottom, it also gives us a battery indicator here. What are we looking at here?
It's at 7%.
Okay. Now, would you expect to see that, the continuous drop in battery level when somebody's actively tracking it like this over the period of time?
Yes.
Now, here on several of these, we've got this information here at the bottom that says near Oak Block Trail, and it says since 10:30 p.m. yesterday. I don't use Live 360, so just explain to us what, in your experience, that means.
It's in that area. So one downfall that it does have, so once the battery does start to drop a little bit, the location can change and not become as reliable, but it's still in a pretty close proximity.
And so that may be another question or another point that you need to bring up here. In State's Exhibit 18.4, the location appears to be slightly different than 18.3.
Yes.
Go back and forth. Is there any explanation to how that could possibly happen?
Yeah, so it could depend on battery. It could be on the signal at the time. It doesn't, so Live 360 doesn't just use your cell tower data. It uses GPS as well as data points, which can be fed sometimes through surrounding Wi-Fi. Even if you're not familiar with it, Wi-Fi is constantly communicating with your phone, especially if you have it available.
And the last one I wanted to look at here is 18.5. As you're looking at this, and with particular, on this map, as we've all seen, there doesn't appear to be any specific location icons here to pinpoint any location. But down here where it says phone is out of battery since 10:30 p.m. yesterday, what does that mean to you?
That the phone is currently out of battery and that she's been in the same location since 10:30 p.m. yesterday.
Okay, so is that, and I'll zoom in just so we can all see it. There we go. So is that indication are two separate things? It's telling you the phone is out of battery, but yet the phone has also been in that location since 10:30 p.m.
Yes, and it also gives you the option to get directions to Susana.
Okay, I see that there on the bottom. All right, now, and so, quite frankly put, based on the Live 360 information that you received, was Susana's phone out of battery at 10:30 p.m.?
No.
Okay. In terms of the timeline, you've now gotten us to 10:29 p.m. with the crash alert through Live 360. Did you find anything after that?
Sorry, Mike.
It's all right. Did you find anything after that in terms of the timeline associated with Susana's disappearance?
I obtained her phone records, and I was able to see that the tower that her phone was hitting off of was consistent with the data or the towers in the area that her phone, it was consistent with the information that was provided by Life 360. I was also able to review the phone records, and based on that, I was able to determine that her phone died. I believe it was between, this is a guesstimate, between 5:30 a.m. and 6:15 a.m., I believe.
And is that the morning of the 27th?
Correct.
Okay.
And there was a lot of calls coming in and out, so that would be expected.
Understood. Now, did you review her phone records?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll get to those here in a minute. I'm going to show you yet again just another slide from State's Exhibit 3. This one here, as Investigator Wilbanks testified to, all the remaining calls after she disappeared showed her phone to be in this location prior to it dying?
Yes.
Okay. And this, what we're looking at here, this same cone that we looked at before, is this consistent with her phone being thrown out of the vehicle at the O'Clock Trace area?
Yes.
Did you ever go look for it?
I did.
Tell us about it.
So after I took over the case, I know they had previously already went to look for the phone, but again, I like to verify just to, see. So because on the Life 360 alert, it looks like there may have been a U-turn. There is an area on Steve Reynolds where you can make a U-turn there. I was like, I wanted to go out and check the center median. So I did go back out there with the metal detectors and check the same areas. I also walked around O'Clock Trace.
Okay, so we're looking at here, you mentioned the U-turn. I'm going to zoom in on Stage Exhibit 18.2 just so that we can all be clear about what you're talking about here. What are you talking about?
This area right here, it kind of looks like it overlapped, like someone would make a U-turn. So that area, there's a center median right there. I wanted to just go check the center median because I wasn't sure if they had actually checked it before.
Okay. Did you turn up anything?
No, I didn't.
Let's take a break.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been going a good while. Let's take a comfort break, our morning comfort break. Be back at 11:05. And you can bring something up here to drink if you want.
those from?
Kelly, Alyssa, Axel, and Esmeralda. I think it was those 4.
And were those searched and did you review them?
Yes, I did. And they all gave consent for us to search them, which is not a common thing. So that was definitely a good indicator for us.
Did you end up finding anything in any of those finds? As lead detective, you reviewed them all. Did you find anything that assisted in locating Susana?
No, it actually supported all of their statements and what they told us.
Ultimately, did you find any information that any of those people had any involvement in Susana's disappearance?
No.
Were there any messages between Susana and her best friends, Esmeralda, Kelly, and Alyssa, about her going anywhere else that night other than home?
No, just them reaching out to her multiple times, asking where she was and that they were scared.
Any information about her, she's walking home, she changes her mind and decides that she's going to go do something else?
No.
At some point, did the Gwinnett County Police Department obtain dental records?
Yes.
And tell me why that happened.
So that's one of the procedures that is pretty much always done in a missing persons case, especially when they're gone for a specific amount of time. Prior to or after her body was found?
Well, let's talk about both.
Okay.
So you just tell us the dental records that were found. How many different dental records were obtained?
So Corporal Conway actually obtained x-rays of her dental records. And then after her body was located, Dr. Terry reviewed them, and like she testified for before, the x-rays were old, so she needed a more detailed report. So then I went to a different dentist's office and got an actual documented report where it discusses each tooth and anything that had been done to her teeth.
Now, going to the day that she was found, February 6th, were you at the scene where her body was recovered on that day?
No, I was actually at a different scene.
Okay. In an unrelated case?
Yes.
Okay. So
and heard the call come out.
Now, when were you first alerted that the possibility that the remains might be those of Susana?
I kind of had a feeling that night because Detective Kessler was communicating with me while I was at the other scene and telling me that they believed it was going to be a Hispanic teenage girl, and then the time frame that they estimated that she had been gone, it all lined up. Even though the distance was kind of far, I really was hoping it wasn't her. Even though, like Dr. Terry, I mentioned that to her when Dr. Terry actually came to the scene I was at after she left the scene where Susana was located and was reviewing the records. I told Dr. Terry, I was like, I don't want it to be her. And, she said, well, then it's somebody else. But I had a feeling that night it was going to be her. And then the next morning when they went back out there, they said that they located hair that was two-toned, the black and the blonde. Sorry. Whew. I really didn't want it to be her. And that it was curly, and I knew that was consistent with Susana's hair. And they had also located fingernails with black nail polish on it. And they sent me some pictures of it, and it was chip black nail polish. And I knew from reviewing social media posts that Alyssa and Kelly made the day that she was killed, that she had chipped black nail polish.
Ultimately, once you obtained those dental records, the updated dental records, did you provide those to Dr. Terry?
Yes.
Okay. As a lead detective, have you reviewed everyone's reports in this case?
Yes.
Did you review the medical examiner's report and all of the personnel from CSI and the medical examiner's office that were out there?
Yes.
Are you aware of any clothing ever been found with or near Susana's body where it was located?
No.
Have you ever, in your experience as a police officer or a detective, have you ever heard of any case involving the police department where somebody's teenager's naked body was found in the woods and it was not a homicide?
Objection, Your Honor. That's not relevant. What may or may not have happened in another case.
Your Honor, I believe that based on the circumstances of this case, the defense in this case, the conclusions that the defense is attempting to obtain, that this is happenstance or it's an accident. I think Detective Carter's expert opinion on her experience as a police officer is relevant in this context.
I do too. I'm gonna overrule the objection.
No, I have not.
Have you ever heard of finding anybody who overdosed naked in the woods?
No.
At some point, let me ask you, once you had a confirmation from Dr. Terry, what did you do next in the investigation at that point? Once you knew it was her, what steps did you take in order to try and figure out what had happened?
Well, next I made contact with her family and gave the notification. But when they did the grid search out there, I was advised that they located the firearm that had been reported stolen hours after she was killed. I reviewed that report and began looking into Miles Bryant, who reported the gun stolen. I learned that he was an officer with Doraville Police Department, which definitely concerned me pretty much immediately. I then reviewed the body cam from when the gun was taken.
Specifically, that body camera footage you're talking about, was that the body camera footage of Officer Merkley who took the stolen gun report?
Yes.
Let me ask you, in Gwinnett County, is it uncommon for somebody to have their gun stolen from their vehicle?
No.
And in particular, a gun stolen from the same place in the same
Was an officer with Doraville Police Department, which definitely concerned me pretty much immediately. I then reviewed the body cam from when the gun was taken.
Specifically, that body camera footage you're talking about, was that the body camera footage of Officer Merkley who took the stolen gun report?
Yes.
Let me ask you, in Gwinnett County, is it uncommon for somebody to have their gun stolen from their vehicle?
No.
And in particular, a gun stolen from the same place in the same night that Susana went missing. What did you think at that point when you had that information?
It was 1000% related. I reviewed other reports that were taken that night in that area. Because it was reported as an entering auto, there's never only one entering auto. There may not be other reports like where they call police, but there's usually some other evidence that there was other activities that were taken.
What do you mean by that when there's not usually just one?
Someone doesn't come into a complex that's trying to break into cars and only break into one car. I've never seen that.
What do you normally see?
Multiple reports of people's vehicles being broken into.
In this particular instance, once you found the entering auto report that the defendant made, did you look to see if any other entering auto reports or any other evidence of any other car break-ins had occurred that night?
Yes.
Did you find any?
No.
And when you reviewed the body camera footage, and we watched it here, so we don't need to watch it again, but there was the statement the defendant made about not wanting to have a detective assigned to his case. Did you find that statement unusual?
Very.
And explain to us why.
As an officer, you know that guns just being out on the street is extremely dangerous, especially in the hands of someone who's not registered to it, or juveniles, or, you know, other gang members, because they know that their names aren't going to be tied to it. And not knowing who is in possession of a stolen firearm, it's dangerous. And even an officer with not a ton of experience should know that.
And so as you saw the report, though, and you watched the body camera video, at that point, did you immediately decide that the defendant was a person of interest, or were there other things that you found as well that led you to that belief?
It definitely piqued my interest a lot more. I then looked at other reports from his. I looked up his name to see if we could if there were other reports, and that's when I located the incident with Alicia Bates in Snellville.
We've heard from Ms. Bates. You found that. At that point, was it at that point you reached out to Ms. Bates, or was it sometime later?
It was sometime later.
Did you ever, as you were investigating, did you obtain the defendant's cellular phone records?
Yes.
And did the police department analyze those records at that time?
Yes.
What did you find?
That his phone was in the wood line a couple hours after Susana was last seen on camera, in the wood line where her body was located.
And specifically, as we're talking about it here, I'm going to put up a slide from State's Exhibit number 3. That you initially saw the phone records for.
It was his work phone. He we did get a search warrant for his personal phone, but at the time when we were getting the search warrant, it was ported through Verizon, but through Xfinity's phone plan. So we didn't have knowledge that, and he had previously changed providers in between there. So we had to write again for T-Mobile.
All right. So initially you sent search warrants for the phone records for his work phone and his personal phone.
Correct.
However, the personal phone number got sent to the wrong company.
Correct.
Okay. So then you obtained, but when did that happen? Was that later?
Yes.
Okay. So on his work phone, I'm going to show you here, State's Exhibit 3. Is this a representation of what you observed when you looked at his cellular phone records for his work phone?
Yes.
All right. And describe to the jury when you saw this, what piqued your interest about it?
It wasn't just a coincidence. There was too many factors in play at that point.
All right. So the distance, do you know how far it is to drive from the defendant's apartment and where Susana went missing to where her body was located out on Highway 316?
I don't know the exact number. I know it's over 20 miles.
Okay. And the times here, when you had your timeline created, what was the last time that you were able to positively identify Susana's location?
10:29 p.m.
So how long after that was the defendant in the area immediately surrounding Susana's body? And you can look at it.
Surrounding her body. Okay.
Based on this
yeah.
screen.
1:39 p.m. I mean a.m. I apologize, on the 27th.
So we're looking at approximately 3 hours and 10 minutes or so later?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did you end up getting his personal phone records?
I did.
Okay, and when you reviewed those, and again, I'll put this up here, finding here that 12:52 and 12:58 a.m., how long after Susana's crash alert at 10:29 was this?
About like an hour and 20-ish minutes. 10:29 to 1.
2 hours and 20 minutes?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so less than 2.5 hours later, after Susana's phone sent the crash alert, the defendant's phone were in the woods?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, what did you, in terms of the investigative options that you had, what did you decide to do?
I obtained this after,
Okay.
further after.
So, okay, so you found, how much later was it that you got his personal phone records?
Probably like a month after he was arrested.
Okay, so all you had to go on at the time was his work phone number. Well, once you saw those locations that we looked at a moment ago, what did you decide to do?
I decided that I definitely had enough at that time to detain him and get an interview with him, but we wanted to do it consensually. But at that point, with what I had after discussing it with the district attorney's office, you specifically, we decided that we didn't need to make a charge. And we ended up charging him with the concealing the death of another, especially given his job at that time. I didn't want to leave anybody in that role that could potentially be involved in a murder of a 16-year-old.
As a police officer?
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about the defendant's phone records in general. We were looking at, and Investigator Wilbanks put this presentation together. There was some calls that were that Investigator Wilbanks mapped, and I want to ask you about a few of those here. And we'll start here with just this one. What I'm specifically looking at here, and I can't really zoom in on this, but the portion over here where it's got the call detail records, can you see that?
Yes.
So this one, the Investigator Wilbanks put up here is 9:15 p.m. The number that the defendant called at that time, did you research, and for the record, it's 770-381-9777. Did you know what that number, or did you research what that number was?
Yes. It's a barbecue restaurant in Lilburn.
Okay. And so that's at 9:15, 9:16. That's what the call is from the defendant.
Yes, and he actually called it 4 times between 9:15 and 9:40.
Okay. The next ones that Investigator Wilbanks put up, so this is 9:40 again, and it's the same number. So this is what you were speaking about. That what number was to the restaurant in Lilburn?
Yes, and they had actually closed at 9:30. They closed at 9:30.
Okay. So from here, we're looking at this, and Investigator Wilbanks showed us this screen here, a list of calls between 9:40 and 10:27. You've already discussed the top one, which is at 9:40 to the restaurant. We've also discussed here, Investigator Wilbanks talked about several of the calls being to Ms. Parks, but there's another number here, the 770-256-0216. Those calls that are there, and who are those? Who is that number?
They're incoming calls from Tracy Bryant, his mother.
Okay. So throughout 9:40 to 10:27, he's receiving calls from Zenobia and his mother.
Correct. And he's not answering them. Well, the first one's an outgoing.
First one's.
But the last ones we just referenced, yes.
Okay. So he's getting calls.
Yes.
But not answering.
Except the last one, it looks like he may have answered for a second, for 27 seconds.
Okay, for Zenobia?
Yes, correct.
We're also looking here, now we're talking about 10:42. These 2 calls, Investigator Wilbanks also testified those were to Ms. Parks at 10:42. The ones from 10:46 to 11:09 to Ms. Parks, and then here at 11:41 p.m. There's a phone number here that he calls in, and specifically it's this box on the right-hand side here, 678-458-1707. Who is that?
Avion Smyer.
Okay, so at 11:09, the phone calls to Ms. Parks, his girlfriend, and at 11:41 to Avion, his girlfriend.
Correct.
From those 2, Investigator Wilbanks already testified to Ms. Parks. Here, there are 3 calls here from 12:23 to 12:28. The first 2 being Ms. Parks, but over here again, the one that is at 12:28 a.m. Who is that to?
Avion Smyer.
Okay. And I'm asking because it's not listed. The name is not listed there.
Yes.
On there. And let's see. Also here, this 3:04 to 3:46 a.m. The calls here, the first one is at 3:04 a.m. It says Mr. Parks, but the middle one here at 3:37 a.m. Do you 770-455-1000? Do you know that number?
It's a phone number for Doraville Police Department. I don't know specifically what it's for. Sometimes like we have, it could be non-emergency number or it could be a phone number to verify something like your identity, to put in something in.
Sure. Did you review Zenobia's phone records?
I did.
And based off of reviewing her records and the defendant's records, did it appear that after Susana disappeared, that the two of them were together that night?
No, given the number of times they were calling each other back and forth, it wasn't consistent with them being together. Her phone also was hitting off towers in different locations.
Okay. I want to talk to you about Susana's phone records, as I know Investigator Wilbanks talked a little bit about them. There is a phone call that Investigator Wilbanks mapped out that was at 5:31 p.m. And then again, you talked about the one at 7:17 from her mother.
Correct.
After that phone call at 7:17 p.m., does it appear from your review of the records, did Susana ever receive and answer any calls from any other person?
No.
Did it appear that she had sent any text messages from her phone?
No.
Let me ask more specifically, did it look like she had called anybody after she was walking home? She's on her way home. After she's walking home, did it appear that she had called anybody else who might live at Sterling Glen Apartments?
No.
Did it look like she had texted anyone who might live at the Sterling Glen Apartments?
No.
And social media accounts that you reviewed, when you reviewed her, and what social media did she have that you reviewed?
Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah.
And I assume, can you send messages on those?
Yes.
Okay. Did you find any messages that night from Susana to anybody that might live in the Sterling Glen Apartments?
No, not after she was.
Else
Yeah.
for that matter?
No.
Okay. So no text messages where she might have arranged to go pick up anything or meet anybody else after she was walking home?
No.
When you looked at the defendant's text messages and phone calls on his phone and his phone records, did you find any calls or text messages from the defendant to anybody else who might live in the Sterling Glen Apartments?
No, other than Zenobia.
Well, and we'll get to that in a moment. But other than the calls that we've looked at from his mom, Zenobia, and Avion, did you find any other calls or text messages during this relevant time besides the restaurant over?
No.
At what point did you decide, or did you decide, to make contact with the defendant?
After obtaining his phone records from his Doraville phone.
Okay. And walk us through, I guess, what the decision was at that time, or what y'all were, what to do in order to approach the defendant.
We knew that he was a police officer. We had never interacted with him on a personal level that I could find. When I say we, I mean people in the homicide unit. We didn't know how he may respond with us walking up to him or mentioning it to him. So we wanted it to be super, super casual, but also we wanted to make sure we were safe with it. We decided that we definitely needed to make contact after the phone records and again, make it casual so he's comfortable coming up and speaking with us.
Okay. And so you've been sitting here, did you tell me the decision to send Sergeant Jorstedt and Corporal Gorig to go and pick him up?
Yes, there were plainclothes detectives out there as well, just to stake out the area, just to see if he leaves or comes or leaves.
Okay. At that time that you decided to interview him, had you determined at that point that he was a suspect in your case?
Yes.
Now, we watched the body camera video from Sergeant Jorstadt. Once he got into the interview room there at the police department, did you ultimately participate in any kind of interview of him?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you a few questions about that. What was your, going in, knowing that he's a police officer, what was your strategy in interviewing him?
I was going to do it the same exact way I do pretty much all of my interviews. I always go in super friendly, super casual, try to make them seem like this isn't a big deal. I just got to do this. So I really appreciate your help. I always come off as being on their side and usually let them get a story out to me. Because I mean, even if they never confess to something, even them lying and giving me a story that I can prove wrong still helps the investigation. So I wanted to be super friendly with him and try to bond with him on a level of, you know, you're my battle buddy, which is a term people in the Army use for other soldiers, and then try to use the police officer connection as well.
Judge, at this time, I'm going to publish the interview. I will just note for the court, for everybody else, it is 3 hours and approximately 45 minutes long. So at some point when the court finds appropriate and wants to break, whether that's before I start or getting a few minutes into it, and then at some point I just want to.
Let me have the attorney's approach, just on scheduling. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to watch about an hour of this video and come to a stopping point where Detective Carter comes in, and then we're going to break for lunch so that y'all have some breaks, not continually sitting here.
May I remain seated while the video is playing?
Certainly. And you've got one right. You know you have one right.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, bro, just have a seat. I'll read back. I'm gonna either one, all right? Yeah. If you need anything, just knock, okay? Thanks. You got my message? You got my message? Detectives came by and it was like, hey, you're the courtesy officer, we need to talk to you. I guess, I don't know, see if I can help them with that girl that we're missing. So I'm over here at Gwinnett County. I don't know. I know. But, there you go. All right. But just let you know. Because, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna holler at the lead detective real quick, and then I'll try to get back over there before I go to work. See what? Hey man, that's yeah. But That's it. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Mhm. Lord, I'll call you when I get out of here. I'll call you when I get out of here. All right. What she saying? Yeah, she was just like, what? She's like, I don't need a courtesy officer. What you got to do with that? I said, a courtesy officer. You know how it is, man. You work the same beat, you know everything about it, you know? You know everything about it. So. Yeah, I worked one zone for like 6 months, like tiny, like, you know, probably had 15 neighborhoods, and then it had like a lot of businesses, like a QT, a movie theater, and dude, I was, you know, it's crazy how many people you see. I'm gonna see what's on. Let's see. Bro, I feel like a damn perv. What the heck? This is crazy.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, I'm Sergeant Pop.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Miles, right?
Yeah.
So Detective Carter, she was signing a warrant for some other case that she's working. She's stuck over at the court. She'll be over here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
You okay? You good?
I'm good, bro.
Do you need water? You need anything?
I feel like a perp, buddy.
What?
I feel like a suspect, a perp.
No, don't feel that way. I'm sorry. We just got so much going on. We're trying to figure this out, and we are grasping at straws at this point. So we're figuring let's try to get whoever we can talk to and go out there.
Anything you guys need, let me know.
You got anywhere to be?
Yeah, I have to, what's going on with my girlfriend? Her brother just got kicked out, and then I have to work. I leave out about 4 o'clock.
You have to work at?
Work tonight.
Okay. What department you work for?
Cedar Doorville Police Department.
Okay. You're just a courtesy officer there. How long have you been living in?
Maybe a year. I think.
Maybe a year. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been there that long, and I don't do anything else there. Because I'm not deputized with it, so I don't.
Right, yeah. No, I know. I run a couple apartment complexes, and I have guys in there, and I'm like, I keep telling the apartment complexes, we gotta have Gwinnett guys, because if they're not Gwinnett, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I just call Gwinnett Westside guys out sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
I don't really have to ever call you guys out, though, so.
No, I'm not too familiar with that complex. I worked down there in West Side for a little bit, for about a year. Too long. Yeah, so she's, oh, that's her right there. Let me see if she's on her way back. Okay, yeah, she's gonna be on our way back shortly, so she really wants to talk to you. She's the one working the case. I could try to talk to you to some of the stuff, but she just says she'd rather talk to you if you don't mind just waiting a little bit. It's not that big a deal. You need more water or anything?
Nah, I'm good, brother.
You good? You need the bathroom or?
Wait, that's if I need it.
Yeah.
I actually was headed out. That's so funny. They rolled up like crime suppression guys. I was like, oh, what in the world, you know?
Yeah, we've been out all day, and then I think Carter called George Dad and was like, hey, can you go see if the courtesy officer's there? See if he can help us out with this, because it's just, it's one of
sad.
It's terrible. So let me know if you need anything.
He's a sergeant Stoppy.
All right.
Hey, are you at the office? Oh, okay. Okay. Did Gwinnett come by there earlier? The Gwinnett police, did they come by there earlier? Oh, okay. I was asking. No, they came to talk to me about some stuff. I was just making calls when they came by there. Oh, no. All right, thank you. Thank you. Hey, man.
Listen, I'm not here to waste your time. I know you got stuff to do and everything. So we're just gonna get started. Whenever the other detective gets here.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. I'm not trying to get you late for work or anything.
So we'll just kind of go back. I know you're leasing office and all that stuff. The courtesy officer for the leasing office and all that. So I just wanted to go back and see your side of everything. Okay, so anyone come up to you, approach you? Did you get contacted by the police? This has been
with this incident.
Yeah,
with this missing girl. Not at all. I'm seeing it on the news. I hear about it on the news, people talking about it, stuff like that. But that was during summer months, yeah. July, something, right?
Yeah. You said earlier that some of the neighborhood kids or the other teenagers talked to you about it. Do you remember their names?
It was BJ. I don't know if BJ talked to me, but this kid, they always at the pool. I remember that day. We was all at the pool swimming and stuff like that. I just played basketball with a lot of them right across the street. So playing basketball, then we went to the pool, and it was like, hey, you heard about that Mr. Girl? And then they started joining us, and she was talking about one of them, but nothing referenced the incident. Yeah, they knew her, and they was.
Who is this? You said BJ or something?
Yeah, BJ. I don't know if he still lives there, but BJ and there's a couple other little kids there.
Oh, how old do you think? High school?
High school kids,
okay.
Yeah.
How many high school kids?
Maybe 3.
All males or?
It was 2 males and 1 female. I don't know if the female name or anything, or male. No BJ.
So just BJ?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything, any context of what they were saying about how she went missing? Or did they have any speculation?
No, they didn't have any of that. They just told me, this is a regular conversation, swimming a while. They were just like, so I'm a little nervous. This is like,
you're good.
I don't even get interviewed.
Perp's technically sitting in this chair, so you're good, man.
But no, yeah, they didn't say anything. So they was looking. I think they did like a walk and look for her. I remember that. They did what they said they was looking for and didn't see anything.
Who was that?
The boys and the kids. They said they walk and look for her and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, they were just trying to go find her.
I guess I don't know.
Okay.
I had to work, so I don't know.
Did they say how they knew that she was missing or anything like that?
They said the news.
Oh, just based on
either the news, and I think she went to Middle Creek. I think so. All the kids went to Middle Creek. They knew her. I think her mom was on Facebook and everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gotcha.
How'd you know about the Facebook?
Them.
Oh, they.
Then when they got on the news and everybody, I'm friends with a lot of people. Yeah. So people's reposting it and everything.
Yeah. So when was this? Do you remember when that was?
July sometime.
July, late
July. After she went missing. So.
Okay. Do you know when she went missing?
I know it was July sometime. Okay. I don't know exact dates.
Do you know where those people went to go look for her?
Yeah. I'm assuming from what I saw on the posts and stuff, they did the little signs and it was off Singleton.
Oh, down Singleton. Like missing person, posted up with a thumbs back or whatever. Okay.
Did they tell you was it around the complex they went walk through the woods or anything? Did they walk? I know you said they were walking around everywhere.
Yeah, I have no clue. I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you that part. I don't know where they went. I just know I've seen them and I saw some say they met up at Food Depot.
Food Depot.
The one off Tech or?
Yeah. Okay. I think by Checkers, whatever.
Yeah. What they do there?
I have no clue.
Okay. Isn't that where Pizza Man is?
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's on the other side.
Yeah. Pizza Man's good.
Yeah. A lot of big old things.
Yeah.
Did they make any comments or anything saying, what they thought or anything about the case?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We were high school kids, but I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't ask questions.
It was more.
No rumors go rampant with high school kids, so they said anything in particular.
No, they were just talking I guess only thing I remember is she was talking about Marlon. I think is his name. She was talking about Marlon, one of the kids there. One of his name Marlon. What is his name?
One of the
heavy-set black kid.
Okay.
Heavy-set black kid.
And that was one of the kids with BJ and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And it was Marlon just going back and forth with her, joking around and stuff like that. I guess they call it joning, joking about.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm 22,
So I guess
For us, it'd be joshing.
Joshing.
Yeah, you joshing around.
Yeah. I guess it was going back and forth. Her.
Between Marlon and the girl?
Yeah.
Okay. Susanna, right?
Yeah,
That's her name?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just think of last name. I think Morales.
Morales?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we'll refer to her as. Okay. So Marlon and Morales are going back and forth?
I guess they wasn't there. That's the story I was hearing.
Yeah.
He was just talking about her. I was like, yeah, you know. I was like, okay. And then we moved on from the subject after that.
But nothing else.
That's the last thing I heard about it. But besides the news and talked to West Side guys. Not about the incident, stuff like that. It was on the criminal trespass, stuff like that.
Just like calls and stuff?
Yeah, we were just talking and stuff like that. And I was like, dang.
Did they say anything?
The West Side guys?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was like, how you like it here? I was like, it's crazy, man, you know?
The apartment complex?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know, like their code 7 or whatever, you like called it in and then they helped.
Yeah, it was a criminal trespass. I could have issued it, but they wanted to trespass with this guy from the leasing office. He came up there scared to live life out of the old property manager. And
that's why she left, huh?
Yeah. Good for me, brother. I'm glad. I'm sorry, guys. I was like, call him that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
So these people, are they always in the apartment complex?
I haven't seen them recently, but I know they play basketball. Like they all play basketball and hang out. They live in that area. So
okay. Let's circle back. So like you said, there's a new leasing manager. Correct?
Yeah, not Giannis. Jesse.
Jesse is the new one?
Yes.
Okay, and then who was the old one?
Can I look at the contacts?
Yeah.
No, you're good. Damn, I just forgot her name. I had it on the top of my head.
You got a prescription?
Yeah.
Glasses? Dude, I read my contact today.
Man, look at my glasses, man. This is I need to get work goggles. This is from chasing. And
you went sick lady?
Huh? Yes.
Did you drop them?
Drop them, hit them.
You gotta get the behind the band.
That looks goofy.
I mean, then your glasses don't break. Yeah, I'm blessed. I got 20/20, so I don't know if
Must be good.
I don't know if I believe it or not. What was her name? I just had her name on the top of my head.
Was it Jonas? Is that what you said?
No, Giannis. That's the
maintenance.
No, that's like the assistant.
Oh, okay. Are they still there?
Yes. Call her real quick, actually. It was rough. The contact between the last property manager was like, ugh. Hey, Giannis, what's our old property manager name? Laura. All right, thank you. Go ahead one second. So who's talking to me? All right.
What, Laura?
Laura Bridges. I got her email. Laura Bridges.
So it sounds like Laura kind of gave like hard times. Like you said that the relationship was kind of So like, was she giving you a hard time?
No, she wasn't giving me a hard time. The contact was
eliminated.
Gotcha. A lot of people don't like
communication.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like her apparently. So I said she's good, but I have no problems with her.
So you guys were cool?
Yeah, I have no problems with Laura at all.
How's the leasing office like in general? Like, is it run good? And...
It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they got good staff.
They good staff? Are they ever shady about anything?
Not that I would think of.
Okay.
Like a while ago, I don't know how long, I don't know if Laura was there, maybe there's one prior to her, like, I think it was the case a year or two ago that we had a problem with that leasing office, like they were trying to hide. I think there's somebody that works in the office did something, they were trying to like hide it.
I don't get that involved at all.
Yeah.
I got a key, not even to the leasing office, back into the side door or whatever, with the gym and bathroom, and that is absolutely it.
Is it a nice gym?
It's decent.
Do you work out? You work out there?
Yeah, try to. Yeah. I had a membership with Platinum Fitness and one at Crunch Assembly.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go, man. Working nights suck.
Yeah.
Bro, I love working nights. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I love working nights, but home court sucks, bro.
It does.
Well, what time do you typically, like, today you had to work at, you go, typically there at 4. Like, what time would you typically get up? Or, like, would you try to stay up all night someday?
No. Like, well, sometimes, but on my off days, I'm on a regular schedule.
Same, that's what I did.
So now on off days, I'm on a regular schedule. So.
When did the property manager switch from Laura to Jesse?
Maybe a month ago. Maybe might be sooner than that, but it's recent.
How often do you call the leasing office of Jesse? Is that your main point of contact, or is
it used to be honest, but me and Jesse talk fairly. We have problems stuff like that. We talk to Jesse.
Okay.
Just like that. And I haven't really talked to Jesse too much.
time to renew my lease and stuff like that. So they were saying what they want to see more in the property. They want to see more patrols. So they barely saw me.
The same BS.
Yeah. Like I did barely patrol. You know, when I did, I'll ride around a little bit and I'll leave, go somewhere else. You know.
Yeah. How often did you like contact Jessie today? Have you talked to her on the phone?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her. I called her. I didn't talk to her.
Okay. What about Giannis?
Yeah, I called her.
But when?
Earlier.
Besides right now, you called her one previous time. Okay. So you're fairly in contact with them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to circle back. So is it always the same two males, Marlon and BJ, and then the female?
No.
So they like
in a little
interchange?
group, yeah, but it's kids that walk from other neighborhoods.
Yeah, they don't live there. Is kind of what I'm understanding.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids that walk from other neighborhoods.
Like hang out spot.
Yeah, play basketball and like I don't know. Junior.
Is another one?
Junior's
That's his name.
Yeah, Junior. He's older. He's my age. He graduated from Middle Creek. I know a little bit about him.
Did you know him before back in high school?
No.
What were you about to say about him?
No, he comes and plays basketball. I haven't seen him. I haven't played basketball in a minute. I've been working between side jobs and my girlfriend. It's crazy. So I've been busy. But he used to come play basketball, stuff like that. And he lives nearby. I don't know exactly where he lives. He said he lives right nearby, though.
Would you think Junior would he have any information that could help us? You think?
Could.
If he's hanging out with the kid,
yeah, he could.
The younger crowd.
Do you know how I could contact him?
Oh, I think I got his number. Let me see. Because when I first got there, I gave my number to a lot of people, stuff like that. But courtesy officer, I don't know why I did that, but I really don't.
How many calls do you get from like random?
Not a lot, but like when I do get them, like they'll call back to back to back to back. Like I'll show you before we get out of here, and they'll call back to back. Hey, they're still making noise. No courtesy officer, and the whole time I'm at work. I swear, I'm sorry, I'm not saying I'm going out for noise. Right. I'm not saying going out for noise. Junior from Sterling, I think it's
from what is SG?
Sterling Plain. That's the apartment complex.
What is it called? Sterling. Oh, Sterling Glen. Is that close by?
That's the apartment complex. That's my apartment complex.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So how does the courtesy do they have a direct line to you? If you didn't give your phone number out,
yeah, it's the courtesy. What's it called? It's like, I don't know, it's not an app. I don't know what they got. It's like a call system.
Gotcha.
So I get a call from, I said apartment complex is the name I named it.
Yeah.
And then that's the mailbox number. So if I get a call, it'll come to me, I answer it, and I put the password in, and it'll tell me, you have a courtesy call, da-da-da-da. But if I miss the call, I have to call back, put the mailbox number, and put in the password.
So that's basically, you can either call the leasing office or on the mailbox when you pull in. Like, how do people get this phone number?
So when you first move in, they give it to you. So it's technically,
so it's like a random phone number.
No, it's technically you look up apartment complex.
Yeah.
It's technically that.
But you press that number.
At the end.
And then it directs you to.
Yeah.
And then they press that button and it calls you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I miss a lot of them.
I get it. I'd probably do the same thing. Deny.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I don't deny her now.
So you're better than me.
Come move out here, yeah.
I mean, what's the craziest thing someone's called you about? There's got to be some kind of outlandish thing somebody's called and complained about.
Well, I haven't got any crazy complaints besides like noise complaints, stuff like that. But I think Miss Laura used to call me a lot when she had problems with residents and stuff that was at the leasing office, and she'd call me frantic, "Miles, any help? They're bringing on the door." Now, the whole time we nowhere
near. That's a 911 situation.
I called, and then she was like Gwinnett, because she said, "Oh, Gwinnett came out. They said they can't take a report, can't charge us because they didn't do anything." I was like, "But they did. They said that. They didn't,
Yeah.
And I wasn't there,
I mean, she demands a report. We'll write one, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah, she wanted charge. She wanted everybody to look chill.
I mean, what if they lived in the complex? Was she still one of CT?
She still
like a leasing office itself? How are they supposed to get their mail?
So she had to tell them to go to the mailbox or they had to deliver the mail. But she CT. I literally saw her CT somebody from the leasing office.
Yeah,
and they did it.
That's ridiculous.
Because I guess it's different numbers. So
yeah, I mean technically,
you could, but how do you use the stuff on the property? Like, how do you use the leasing office, the gym, the mailbox? That's what I'm saying.
CT from the whole area. I don't know how that plays out with ring, all that, but hey,
Or court. Yeah,
like I would
she
take that to
took
court. She took that out of court, so I don't know how that played out.
You bring up a good point though. If I'm paying rent, part of my rent is to use that gym and the other facilities. And if you see TV just because you got an argument, then I can't use that shit. So, man,
She took me to court. So.
well, it's a good thing she ain't there anymore.
You ever walk around on foot or anything like that?
Not really. I used to run a lot. So I used to run, and I really never walked though.
Where'd you run to?
I used to, like I got my, I used to run. So I used to do a mile. It'll be start from my apartment, either go up or down, go around, then go down. It's like, by the leasing office is a fork.
Yeah.
So go down that way, turn around.
Just in the apartment complex?
Yeah.
You wouldn't go out?
Yeah. I'll go up.
I don't love you.
Go up and then come back down and go back to the apartment. And right before I come up the hill where you guys were coming from, right before that part is hit a mile.
Oh, wow.
That's when I started running.
That's a hilly mile.
Yeah. I'm in all the knowledge, man. I'm on SWAT. I'm trying to get everything right.
How do you like SWAT?
It's fun.
Is it?
It's fun. I want to come to Gwinnett, but it's more active, but.
I mean, yeah. SWAT's, that's whole.
Are you on like the North Metro team?
No, that team is Chamblee, Dunwoody. We we have our own.
Oh, okay.
So that team is cool, but they only allow like 3 members from each department, and we got a 30 minutes SWAT team.
That's not bad.
You been through basic yet? Basic SWAT school?
No, not yet. No. I'm SWAT school. Gonna go.
Have you had any call-outs?
Yeah, we had a call out the other night. Barricaded suspect. I was actually at work, and when some call came, I was a threats call, and they were he was at the window. He said, "Well, he put a gun on me." I was like, oh, "Do you want to press charges?" And it was like, "Oh no." And I was like, "All right, just leave. He's drunk." So that's my supervisor's decision. I was like, "All right, just leave. He's drunk." He's like, "You cool with leaving? Do you want to press charges?" That's fine. And then he was like, "Oh, my keys are on the table." And the guy wouldn't open the door. So he was like, "Can we get our keys? We don't rush. We don't really just 4 o'clock in the morning. We're not trying to know reports. We get off an hour." And he comes to the window with like AR style rifles. Dang. So I dropped the rifle, He started barricading the windows, and well, go barricade. Dang.
So what'd y'all do?
They called SWAT out, and I switched over and went out there. The guy ended up coming out. It was a airsoft.
So y'all just surrounded and did an announcement?
Yeah.
Is that your normal SOP?
Yeah. They called him and came out. They talked to him for like hours.
Like CNT with the crisis people. Y'all got a crisis negotiation?
Yeah, we do, but it was just one officer that speaks Spanish. He was cool with it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's been out there.
Spanish speaker, probably. Did y'all have a Spanish speaker like on scene before it went?
Yeah, because he was on a part-time when he came.
Yeah. Dang. So, I mean, being the new guy, like I was on SWAT at one point, you're kind of stuck on containment. Is that the way the whole team works?
Yeah, I was on the corner.
Yeah. Fucking boring.
How many guys do y'all have?
Like 20, 30.
Dang. For a city agency?
Yeah.
That's
It's 20, 30 on the roster. It's never 20, 30.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. You never get the full roster.
It's never 20, 30. We got guys on DA task force and guys on detectives, so they just everywhere.
Yeah.
And guys live freaking like hour and a half away, so they never get there in time.
Yeah.
By the time they get there, it's all done.
Yeah.
Dang. How long you been on SWAT?
I don't know. Had to be 6 months after I was there. It was the year before I was there, so it hasn't been a year.
Yeah.
A little under a year, I was saying. A little under. It hasn't been.
And you've only had one call out?
Yeah, we get a couple of search warrants. We don't have call outs. That sucks.
Man.
That's why I said it's boring.
No, that's awesome, bro.
No, that sucks.
That's awesome.
I mean, the OT is nice, but when you're stuck in a house for fucking 19 hours in a freezing cold, you start rethinking your commitment.
I fell asleep behind a tree the other night.
For real? You on SWAT too?
No.
Hey, you're a corporal, right? I've met you.
Where?
Sterling. Have you ever been there?
Yeah.
I've met you.
I mean, I've been there. I've been up and off the road though for a minute.
Corporal Matt?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Eric.
I don't know where. I feel like I met you. I don't know where. I talked to a lot of Gwinnett officers.
Yeah.
Like QTs, I love top Gwinnett officers.
Well, when I was on the road, I was at the QT getting that drink.
That's a guarantee you can find officers in Quick Trip.
Y'all have a Quick Trip down there too?
Where?
At Dorville.
Yeah, we got real.
Yeah.
It's terrible. The one off B5 was absolutely terrible because Marta.
The homeless people just sit right there.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Quick Trips you can hang out at? Because that would be my
Yeah, I did one off right before you guys. It's off Winter Chapel. Stuff like that. That's a good one.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah. No, the truck stop the way went off Pleasant.
Yeah. Because I always bring, like, I've worked nights 5 years, so I always brought my food and used the quick trip microwave. Did you bring out food, or like, do you go out? You have time to go out?
Yeah. We had time to eat, man. It's calm down. There's a lot of good stuff. There's like Hispanic food, and it's like Chinese food. And
I feel like every time I try to go eat, I'd either walk into a restaurant, get in a drive-through, and an alert tone would go off. Something I'm like, not even now.
We got backup officers that pretty cool backup officers.
Yeah,
They'd be like, all right, you still 10-6, but yeah.
Man, y'all sound like y'all got each other's backs, whereas I don't think ours do that quite as much.
It's your call, man. You handle it.
I'm seeing who else will help you with this.
Does the leasing office have cameras, do you know?
Please tell them.
Or like the camera that's not really a camera.
I don't know. I've seen cameras out there, but I don't know. I have no access to them.
You don't know if they work?
So that's something I get you guys to do, because I like
we tell all the complex.
Because we have Arenados out the butt.
I bet y'all do.
You know, like my truck I broke into, I unlocked it. Okay,
Nah, you're one of those guys. Come on, man.
But my truck got broke into, and it was called Arenado in progress a few months back, I want to say. My girl got home. She was like, "Hey, babe, I know a little bit about the police, and like these guys are breaking the cars." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, they all got ski masks on. They're riding slow ride. They call it slow ride, or she calls it slow ride." I was like, "All right." So I was there watching. They broke right by me. They got out, looked in the car. I was like, "Oh God!" Then they saw me. I was in my truck, man. Then they saw me. Then I kind of like left, stuff like that. So I kind of like followed them. I said, I was like trying to call on that. And I looked over, and it was a car. The window wasn't broke, doors open, receipts all on the ground.
So you rummaged through it. They went through it all.
Yeah, they, door checked it. Everything. I guess they did. I don't know. They went out. They drove. Just took off, hit gas, turned or whatever.
What kind of car was it?
It was like a Lexus. Like a older style Lexus with a temp tag. Temp tag was always it was temp tag. It was like destroyed. So I was trying to get tagged because I wasn't 1080. I was like, whatever, bro, you know. So I saw him out. I forgot where he was sitting at. Can't really remember. He was sitting somewhere. I pulled up and said, "Hey, Arenado perks. I'm not gonna forget no more. They went that way in this car." He was like, "All right, I'll let the guys know." And I went back home with her.
There you go. Are there any like weird suspicious people that are commonly going through? Because I know we got a couple of apartment complexes that have like the same homeless dude walk around, hang around. You got anybody weird like that?
Yeah. So I don't know if he's been there. I mean, I haven't seen him, but it's a couple. So it's a couple that used to live on the property. I know exactly where they work at. Blue Sky. Blue Sky, right there in Norcross. You know that? Right there off. It's a car wash. Blue Sky car wash, right there in Norcross, Beaverwood. And the reason I know I worked there because I got a membership there with my patrol car, and I get it.
You saw him there?
Yeah. And him and his girlfriend used to live on the property, but he's a gangbanger. He caused a lot of issues on the property. I was never really on him. Like, hey, man, I used to try to be the cool one. So, hey, the leasing office trying to kick you out of here. Don't do that. You know, so I don't have to be bad guys. I still live on the property.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like drug deals, just on private property. Apparently, I think he's Crip. Mm-hmm. That's from what I heard, and he wears a bandana and stuff like that. I'm not gang certified, of course, but he carries a gun. And after they kicked him off the property, that's all I see him on the property walking. I'm pretty sure he thinks his girlfriend used to still live there, but that's all I see him on the property. And they used to call.
Do you remember his name or anything?
Oh God, I don't know his name.
Did y'all ever see him?
Listen off, so they want to do stuff, but then they don't want to do stuff.
Yeah, and then when it comes down to it, they don't do that, right?
Yeah, so it's like they used to call me, be like, "Hey, that guy we evicted?" Like, yeah, he's like, "Well, he's on the property." I'm like, if his family lives there, he could come on the property. You know, you can't stop somebody from visiting if you don't have no, you know. So he's the only one. It's a lot of foot traffic at night.
Like in the complex, or like just on the outside?
Outside and inside, really.
Okay. I mean, they probably use it as a cut through, right? Isn't that like a side gate?
Yes, it was a cut through. I was talking to one of the West Side guys, and he was like, "There's so many businesses back there. Whatever business back there used to get broken into in the back, and they used to use
the cut through, not by my, I don't know where it is. I seen people walking through it. Not my building, the building right here. And it's like down the hill. So like it's a cut back there. I don't know where it leads. I never walked through it, but I see foot traffic through there all the time. Like people walk through there all the time, but I'm on my business, bro.
Probably get up to that intersection or food line or all those businesses, right? Isn't that the path that leads?
It's on that area, but I don't know exactly where it comes out at. But they said like people breaking in the back of the business and running through the complex all the time.
What's this guy look like?
All right, so he's a tall, light-skinned, brown-skinned male. He has hair. His hair, I don't know if he still has a blonde at the top of it, but it's like it maybe dyed at the top of it.
Oh, like the tips?
Yeah, it's not twisted, but last time I saw it wasn't twisted. Eyes a little bit at work. His girlfriend, his girlfriend's a short, I think she's white. White female, freckles, really short. I don't know her name. She has like blonde back hair, straight, kind of short.
What kind of hair?
A blonde and black.
Kind of like, what was it, like the
highlights?
ombre?
Yeah,
like,
highlights, you say?
Where it's like, is it highlights or is it like that? My wife just taught me this thing called ombre, where it's like dark and then it fades and like midway down goes to blonde or something.
Ombre. But yeah, them two used to be on property a lot. It's I see a lot of foot traffic through the property. I had nothing to really alarm me and stuff like that. But
is there any other like problem apartments like that are constantly the ones getting called on? Like any like party apartments?
Yes, when you first pull in the complex, I don't know exactly which one or what building. When you first pull in the complex, past the trash cans to the left. It's
like that,
guys out there.
Like where that construction crane was?
After that.
That next, okay.
It's either not right there, but right before you turn to the left to go down the hill towards my area.
Yeah.
They party out there a lot. I get noise playing calls up there. I'm not going out there for music. You know, in car, they're out there drinking, stuff like that. The office is closed, so if it's like they get crazy and rowdy, stuff like that, then the people will call on that, you know. That's probably something terrible crazy.
Nah, dude, like I said, man, I worked down south side and this one would call us, like, be a simple noise complaint, like something very simple he could do, and he would actually call us through dispatch. Like he wouldn't make the person call, So you get me.
That I've never really seen the guys, stuff like that. So maybe out there listening to music, drinking. I heard it passing by before when I leave. Yeah, but I'm not drinking at your apartment, bro. You know?
Does like BJ and Marlon and them, do you know if they hang out at those like that place?
Yeah,
like,
they're not saying good kids, but they play basketball, they go swimming. I don't know really which that's where I see them at.
Maybe you're entering auto first.
I don't know, man. The kids they play basketball and stuff, so I don't think they're I guess I got a couple guys right now that went to high school with play football and they're in prison.
Really? Yeah. What'd they do?
I think one was aeronautics, one was armed robbery. But these kids you never would have thought it was like I was like quiet kids in school in a while. But them that's it.
So there's no other apartment that raises an eye or anything like that?
I mean I had a problem apartment, like that guy we kicked out. When I talked to him, he was cool. He was mad, but he was cool. He was like, they're doing me dirty. They won't let me pay my rent. They want to take me to court and say I have to pay my rent. How am I supposed to do this? To me, he had valid concerns. That was under Miss Laura. So
it sounds like Miss Laura was kind of a dick.
I guess. To me, he had valid concerns. So other than that, I don't know. Miss Laura or Miss Giannis might have better. Not Giannis, what's her name? Jessie, she might have. She's been there short now, but she knows a lot. She might have better stuff for y'all, but
What about, so I know I asked about the cameras at the leasing office. Yeah. So when I lived in an apartment, I had like a Ring doorbell at my apartment. So do you see any Ring doorbells or anything like that are around, or do you have one?
No, I have a blink camera.
Where's that?
Yeah, on my door.
Okay, it's like, so when you open your door, it's right there?
Yeah. Okay. So like when the front door, like doorbell camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one. I got this one because I had a Ring one. It was terrible. It didn't pick up.
Oh, I'm a Ring guy.
But you probably have a newer one. I got mine off Amazon. And it didn't pick up. It didn't pick up.
You gotta get those Amazon days.
It didn't pick up
nothing.
Nothing. Like
the Pro. Was it the Pro? Cause I got the ring pro. You take the ring pro. You take the ring.
It might be that my girlfriend's arguing, she can smash it a little bit. So,
Well, I mean, that might be why it didn't work.
so
Does the blink still work?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it works really well though. It works like if people you pick up people like if somebody was in their car and opened their door, it'll pick up. Like I know my girlfriend used to get home.
Dang.
Yeah, it's cool.
Anyone, any of your neighbors have anything like that? Or?
I see after the internados and stuff that I heard about, and apparently it was more internados that nobody told me about when I was meeting with every Monday. Like, oh crap, I need to meet with her. She had tell me about stuff. She's like, let's meet Bryant in car and stuff like that. I was like, unless you get gates, which is still not going to stop it.
Yeah.
And I said, I tried to get the west side. No, I didn't do it. No lie.
Yeah.
I tried to get the west side, get patrol. I was like, internal is going to happen. I said, we're in Metro Atlanta. Internal is going to help people to lock their doors.
Yep, there you go.
I said, because I see videos, they don't really breaking windows anymore. No, they see a bag.
They see something.
Yeah, door checking. Yeah. Well, cameras. I tell them all the time. Get cameras. It's the best way to see stuff. You know, get cameras. Trying to think. I know the office doesn't have cameras.
How long have you had your camera for?
That ain't been that long. It's a few months.
Okay. Yeah. What about the ring? How much further did you have the ring?
I had a ring since I moved in. I moved in, but I didn't know about the script.
What made you pick, like, cause, I mean, I work down there, so like, what made you pick like, that apartment complex?
Just called around, bro.
Nothing closer to like work or anything.
I just called around.
I
was at my mom's house. I wanted to move out.
Yeah.
You know. I just called around
for like hey, do you have a courtesy spot open?
Yeah. I'm literally still calling because that's cool. I'm trying to get out of the North area, bro. I'm so tired.
So does your mom stay close by or?
Yeah, she stays close by.
Yeah. Where's she at?
Still over there off. Sorry, brain fart. What's that road? Arkway.
Okay.
Oh, Beaver Road.
Yeah.
Is she in a house or apartment?
House. Oh, yeah. Trying to tell her to get cameras. Her and her neighbors don't have cameras. So it's like trying to tell her and their neighbors to get cameras. The only person that has a camera that I know of is down the street. It's a girl used to go to high school with Emily. Her mom has cameras because she asked me, "It's people's in our neighborhood," and I saw it. And she was like, "Hey, what am I about to do about this? We're about to leave because this is crazy. I've locked the doors, in Metro Atlanta." Yeah. She had like the flood. I said, "Come on."
Yeah. Tries to scare them away.
Pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, I just called around. Those places in Dunwoody right now, I was looking at, they called me back there. That's a nicer area.
Dunwoody's nice area.
Isn't that nice down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
A place with a gate.
Really, maybe controlled access. You know,
even though with those, I know those are, because like my girlfriend lives in Dunwoody and I get their gate all the time.
Yeah, but it's still still lessen. Yeah. I know you said that one of your as you jumped in your truck was right around. Like, do you typically will you put on like your uniform? No, play those.
Yeah, I don't even go out on people and stuff like that. I just
not worth it.
Like I barely patrol if I do, but if I do, I ride around a little bit. Ride around because one of the complaints that they used to say they never see the courtesy officer ride around.
Yeah,
they never see the courtesy officer ride around. So try to ride around a little bit. That's it. If I see something, I don't never see anything. If I see something, wave people, go.
In your truck or in your Explorer?
It depends. Most times in my truck, because I be leave. What I do is I try to patrol and then leave.
Yeah, but like
so nobody thinks that you stay there
when you're going to the gym or something. Just do an extra.
I do a patrol and I'll park at the leasing office and go in and work out. Or run. What I started doing now is by the park at the soccer field next to it.
Yeah,
the track thing. I run that.
There you go.
But
how long you been in the military? You're in National Guard, right?
Yeah.
How long you been doing that?
Since 2018.
2018? What was that, 4 years? Coming up on 5 years?
Yeah, I was in high school when I joined, so.
So you did like an ROTC program?
Yeah, I did split up. So between my junior and senior year, I went to basic training. Mm-hmm. And then after I graduated, Penn High School, played football, stuff like that, then went to MP school.
Okay, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
So when did you do MP school?
2019.
So you're out of high school at that point?
Yeah.
And where did that at?
MP school?
Yeah.
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Dang.
So
how long is that? Like 8 weeks or something?
Yeah, 10.
10?
So if I did the whole thing at once, it would have been 20, but it's 10.
Oh, so you did basic and then
came back and then did.
Where'd you go to basic at?
Fort Leonard Wood, MP school still.
That's cool. You like that?
MP?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm about to get out.
Yeah, I had a buddy, he was Air Force MP. He didn't last very long.
It's inconvenienced my life, you know. Like I'm trying to buy a house and
it's extra money though, right?
$200, you know.
A month or what?
During for drills, $200 check, you know.
Once a week or once a month?
Yeah.
So $200 a month?
Yeah.
That's not a lot, man.
It's really. I mean, they got good benefits, stuff like that. Like I'm staying into the end of this contract, trying to get my B home loan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, help you out buying a house. That's good.
Other than that, that's all it really is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think Carter's here. Let us just step out and brief her, so we shouldn't ask any more questions. We'll just see if she's got anything else. Okay. All right. You want some water or anything?
Yeah, thanks, Laura.
Yeah, I'll get you for you.
God, guns off and everything, man.
Yeah, that's our policy.
I know. I'm just.
Hey, you call me?
One second. You said brown Nissan what?
It's a brown metallic.
There you go, man.
Maybe it's Almeda or it's a big sedan.
Mm-hmm.
With the windows tinted.
Mm-hmm.
And this car has been here from the office, around. So apparently it's a young man. Our manager went out to ask him if he needs something that we can help him. He said, no, waiting for someone, it's okay. But the car was around, coming back to the parking lot in front of the office, driving around again. And
You said a brown Nissan?
A Nissan, it might be like a reference, it's a big sedan, like a Nissan Almera or something like that. I don't remember. We couldn't see play number or.
Yeah. Is it at the leasing office?
No, Gianni saw him around the building 62, around there. But to be honest, since that, maybe for about half an hour ago, something like that, I haven't seen it anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm talking to Gwinnett guys right now, and then I'll check it out.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, brother. Call me back if you need anything.
If I see it again, I will test you.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you, Mike. All right.
Bro, they're asking me questions. I did. Hey.
Yeah, nothing. It's weird. They're asking me questions and stuff about the permit complex. We did likes to walk around and stuff. And yeah, just give you an update. But what? About what? About what? About what? You have my location. I'm sending it to you. No, look at my location. I'm out here in Lawrenceville right now. Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
are you mad at me?
Well, I'm mad at you.
Because I had you sitting here waiting for me.
No, you good. Hey, I'm right back.
How are you?
Sorry, good.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our lunch. Y'all can be back at 1:35 and in the dining room. Thank you. All right, we're adjourned till 1:35.